So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing?
Can you guys hear me? I heard the
light?
sound bite there.
You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable.
Okay.
Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Gotcha.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect. Changing the communities we serve.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother Equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
Would you rather have Nick Saban himself just pick the entire playoff or have like 13 people on a committee?
I'm going with Saban, man. I'm going with Saban.
It's such a good, I love the idea.
Just put him in the room for an hour and say,
sort it out. Let him come out like the Pope.
Really?
Yeah, just let him come out.
Have some
white smoke. Here's the announcement.
White smoke rising from his home.
I'm serious. That's what needs to happen.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a call play, and I called it, Chuck.
Back to Save Sports Radio.
I'm ready to roll right now,
Can you believe we're doing this?
This brings back.
Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
Here is Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
I got to tell you, there was a point in the first half where I thought Michigan was going to win by 20. There's a point in the second half where I thought Arkansas was going to win by 20. And then it comes down to the last shot. I mean, I thought it was a great game. I'm sure glad Arkansas won because it's a lot better to win a game like that than to lose it. But, man, that was fun. I got to tell you, it was fun last night in the Garden.
Raise your hand if you were confident that Arkansas was going to win the game in the last 60 seconds. It had been a day on social
I'm going to
media.
get my hand halfway up.
Right, a bloodbath of everything is going wrong with Arkansas. It's just normal transfer portal stuff. I mean, Arkansas is up there, and they've lost guys, and you're seeing others that have lost about the same. By the way, Colorado lost 41 guys in the transfer portal last year, but the sky was falling all day on Arkansas social media. And then you get this basketball game, and it's exciting, and it feels like March Madness. It feels postseason-esque. And it was prime time, Chuck. And Razorback fans were just holding on by a thread. Will anything good happen today? And as Houston Nutt loved to say, and as we go inside it, there's nothing like a celebrated locker room.
So I got to tell you this, because it's on my heart. You fought. You fought your butt off. That is a terrific offensive team. Proud of you. I'm telling you, we almost gave it away, but guess what? We did. All right, so hey, enjoy. Isn't winning a whole lot better than losing?
Courtesy Hogs Plus, and yes, it is. And that is the upside of a John Calipari program. All the pomp and circumstance surrounding the win, surrounding the evening. Chuck, how was Madison Square Garden?
You know, it was great. And I don't know that we've had anyone affiliated with our program, and I'm talking the entire athletic program, with the possible exception of Coach Broyles, who was more comfortable underneath the spotlight than John Calipari. You want to talk about a man in his element last night before the game. I mean, he walked out on that floor, and it was like, here I am in the biggest arena in sports. And, I mean, people flocked around him. There's so many, and I'm not talking about the people around Cal. I'm mainly talking about the people around the ESPN guys. There are so many hangers-on. I mean, our broadcast spot last night was in the concourse area, which I loved. But we could look down and see everything that was happening on the floor. And the way they just congregate around Billis. And there were a lot of other luminaries that were there last night, basketball luminaries. There were just a lot of people on the floor before the game, and you always look down there and you're like, who's that guy? What's he doing out there? And it was just that kind of night. And, man, there were a lot of Razorback fans there, more than I imagined would be, more than I've seen at some NCAA tournament games, I'm going to tell you. And they made noise, and it was fun. It was good to be there.
I think there was 14,000 at the game, and it felt like mostly Razorback fans. And
there were a lot. I'm going to say at least 5. I'm going to say 5.
It was impressive.
And they were noisy.
It was an event. And this time of year, when you turn on a basketball game, I don't know if you've thought about this in the past as a Razorback fan, but you'll watch some of these big-time games. You know, you're just looking for something to watch, and there's a big-time matchup, and you turn it on, and you kind of wish, like, your team was in that. Well, last night, Arkansas's front and center. And here's just part of what comes with it that maybe you don't think about. But that being the game that it was, scheduled at the time that it was, is prime time, and it's leading up to the biggest show on ESPN, which is SVP. And so then here's Cal on SVP just talking about Cal things in his program.
And I'll tell them this after the game. I'll say it to them when I get in. I waited 15 minutes because you were doing highlights, but I'll go in and tell them the same thing.
It was your game.
Yeah, I know.
You know, we could see that going on. We were watching it, and I go, man, they've been in like a 5-minute break. You could look down and see Cal. It's like, what is going on here? I'm ready to go get in my locker room with my team. And yeah, they made him wait a while there at the table. That's the stuff you see inside the arena. That was kind of funny after the game.
But anyway, can I go see my team
now? Of course. Merry Christmas. You're John. You're free to go. Thank you.
That's great.
That's going to be Chuck at 7:00 this morning. When he's got to head out of the Manhattan hotel.
I got to make the bus to the airport here in a little while.
Yeah, I mean it's a different kind of trip, you know. You're not usually there
home.
2 nights, but
it's time to come home.
Yeah, 2 days in the Big Apple will do that to you.
I'm an Arkansas boy, man. It's time to come home.
But that was an exciting and moment, obviously game, and but more than that, I think that's what Razorback fans had in mind when Cal took the job. And we all do it. We all expect everything to be the way we want it to be. And the expectation was, you know, the Razorbacks were just going to be great immediately, and they haven't been. And there was you mentioned it, you know, down 15 to Michigan in the first half, and then up 15 or 17 or whatever it was in the second half. 18. And but that switch at halftime was the team that we all, I think, really thought we were going to see. And they had guys still banged up. Thiero played with the flu. Didn't really look like it other than he sat out, you know, probably more than he would have otherwise. But that was the energy, the talent, the athleticism, the size. I mean, the Michigan team they played, I don't know how that team ever loses a game with 2 guys at that size playing like guards and not soft guards, like post players that can handle the ball like Boogie. I mean, it's crazy. And when you got those
they could win the Big Ten.
You got those 2 guys working together. I mean, that's it. That was a tall order. And Arkansas's athleticism and size. How about the game Brazil had? I mean, when's the last time you saw him have a game like that?
Oh, I thought he was a monster. I mean, particularly down the stretch. When Arkansas made that run at the end of the first half, that's what put them in a position to win the game in the second half. I mean, they were about to get run out in the first half. And I know it was a game of runs. I don't know that we even realized midway through the first half what that was going to mean before it was over, what this game of runs was really going to be like. But I thought for Arkansas to make it even a single digit, get it down as close as they did before halftime, they were within striking distance when they came out of the locker room, and I think that gave them confidence.
877-377-6963 is our number. We're reacting to Arkansas's tight win over Michigan last night, 89-87. Michigan ranked 14th in the country. Looked like it. I mean, looked like a really good team. But again, Arkansas showed up, and they showed up big. Another clip from Cal after the game.
We lost to 2 top 15 teams, and you all of a sudden think we stink. I mean, I'm like, okay.
But that is a point to be made right there. The teams that they've lost to could be, they could certainly make runs. Michigan could win the Big Ten. These are good teams that they've played. The one thing that I thought yesterday, leading up to the game, last night, after the game, it was like an NCAA tournament win. It was like you were away playing at the Sweet 16. The build-up for the game during the day, they had an event at one of the pubs or bars or whatever you want to call it between here and Madison Square Garden. They rented it out for a Razorback party. They couldn't. I mean, they fire-coded people. They had to shut the doors because there were so many people in there. There's a line out on the street. That's how it's been when Arkansas goes to NCAA tournaments. And after the game, the team comes back to the hotel. There's a bunch of people in the lobby, and everybody's calling the hogs, and it's a lot of fun. And I think that's what people envisioned was fun with their basketball program. And last night they got it.
Well, you're reminded that people just want that. They want fun, and they want They want to feel good, and that feels good. It feels good on another level. It always feels good to win, and Arkansas's been in big games before. But what's happened with this team since Cal became the head coach is everything is at a spotlight level. It's at another level. So you've jumped up a tier automatically. It hasn't felt that way because there's been some games at home that aren't marquee matchups with brand name opponents. But these games, they're playing at neutral sites. This is what college basketball is at another level. This is what teams that are in that tier play in. And when you go play in that and you get to be a part of that, that's cool. But when you go win in those games, it's another level. And that's what we saw last night from an Arkansas team that needed to win for themselves, but for their fan base. I mean, this fan base is wanting to feel something good so bad. And it did last night. And it was great. And it was great to be a part of. And by the way, the other thing people are talking about, Chuck, is just how difficult the SEC is, how loaded this league is in basketball. Cal was asked about it on SportsCenter with SVP.
Your league is great. How great is your league as you look top to bottom? I don't know if I've ever seen a deeper league.
Oof.
He was feeling it last night, man. He walked into the news conference with Karl Anthony Towns on speakerphone.
Yeah.
Sits down at the mic, continues the conversation. He's like, I got to go. I'm with the media now. I mean, he
was at the game. He was at the game last night. Of course, it was at the Garden, and so when he was introduced and put on the big screen, got a pretty big round of applause.
The SEC has an overall combined record. They're currently 128-19 as a conference this season.
That's amazing. And it's not like Arkansas is the only SEC team that's played ranked teams and had marquee ball games. Missouri on Sunday beat Kansas by 9. Sunday we might have been paying attention to other things. I don't know. But every time we have a slate of games, whether it's a midweek or weekend slate of games, there's always one SEC team in there that does something a little surprising. Either they beat a basketball brand type school, or they play somebody that's got a good team and they beat them by 20. I mean, there's some SEC teams that have just run some other teams out of the gym this year. Good teams that are going to contend for spots in the tournament later on. And I don't know who the best team is, but I know there's 7 or 8 of them that are really good.
There got to be a bunch of
maybe more
in this league. By the way, the Tennessee-Miami game, this common opponent thing you got to be careful with, but because there's a lot of things that can happen, just matchup wise, but Arkansas going to Miami and winning, we'll see how big of a win that ends up being at the end of the year. But, Miami looked like a squad last night. I mean, they ended up losing by double digits. It's probably an 8-10 point game most of the game with number 1 Tennessee, who's absolutely loaded and really good. Like we're talking about with think about it this way. A week or so ago, everybody was talking about Auburn's the best team in the country. The last 3 or 4 days, everybody's saying Tennessee's the number 1 team in the country. Is there going to be another team that people talk about as the number 1 team in the country in the next 2 weeks? But Miami played toe-to-toe with Tennessee last night on a neutral floor at Madison Square Garden. And for Arkansas to go there and win, Chuck, I think it's going to end up being a big deal on their resume at the end of the year.
I hope so. The thing that I know it will avoid is being a bad loss. I'm not sure Miami's going to make the NCAA tournament. They're a pretty good team. They're going to lose a lot of ball games by 6 to 10 points. Just good enough to break your heart. If you're a Miami fan. Yeah. And so they I don't think they're a tournament team, but if you don't win that game, when you get to March, if they're not a tournament team, all of a sudden when they start listing good wins and bad losses and, losses that, you should have won that game, all of a sudden the Miami game goes into that category. So there's significance in the win, however it plays out when we get to March.
It's Wednesday, December 11th. Chuck's in New York. He's in the Big Apple. We've got him for an hour or so here. We're locked down. We're hunkered down in the studio. We're ready to talk. It's a Reaction Wednesday after a big Arkansas win over Michigan. And so much more to get into. 6:17. Glad you're here. Good morning. It's the Chuck and Bo Show.
Can we just say, for all of you who get up early in the morning and you work so hard, man, we're glad you're here. We just really appreciate all the work you do to make Arkansas better.
You talking to me?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Best brands, best people, best inventory, best place. You want selection? You'll find it at the Auto Park. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. We're talking 4 of the best brands on the planet. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Plus, certified pre-owned Toyotas, Hondas, Acuras, and Chevys. Why settle for anything less than the best? Best brands, best people, best inventory, best place. Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show. Check us out online at FayettevilleAutoPark.com. That's FayettevilleAutoPark.com.
Is your hot water heater letting you down? No one likes cold showers. We want to be able to count on our hot water. That's why Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric has an offer that comes with the peace of mind I value. Get this, for just $17.76, you can get a 40 to 50 gallon water heater fully supplied and installed by their licensed and insured technicians backed by a comprehensive warranty. For less than $2,000? Yeah, price check it. It's a deal. Just log on to GoPascal.com and don't worry about hot water anymore.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I don't know what odd time is for you, but yeah, you got here before the show started.
Whatever. Hey, have you ever seen anyone that takes so much pride in being the first one here?
Hey, Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Robert, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
The largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
I should say it?
Say what? Mom, I think he wants to say that it's Christmas time.
Okay, you can say it.
It's Christmas, everyone, and guess what, guys?
What?
Santa shop's here at the Stadium Shop.
Oh, Lord, Mom, here comes that dad side.
Nope, I saw him. Matt, you still do believe in Santa, right?
Sure. Believers do get more presents.
Okay, so what did he get?
Let me guess, a couch for the elves, collars for the reindeer, maybe even a hoodie for Frosty. You know how cold he gets being made of snow and all.
And let me guess, some Razorback jewelry for Mrs. Claus?
Well, yeah, Matt, you better get that Google machine all warmed up. He said he was going to be ordering some more stuff.
Google machine?
Yeah, you know, the interfacegram www.
I think he's talking about our website, which you should know by now, Dad. It's shoponrazorback.com.
Or have Santa give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
So come by 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville, and you just might catch Santa Hog.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us. Ho, ho, hogs.
Waldron Wave Rural Connects. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Fall is here, and that means cooler weather, football, and family, which makes it the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart, your family's #1 tire store. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is ready for anything fall brings your way. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I was supposed to ask him at the start of the segment what he did
really
last
appreciate
night.
you asking.
I forgot. What'd you do last night, Bo?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
It is 32 in Fayetteville. It's 30 in Hot Springs, 34 in Mountain Home, 33 degrees in Stuttgart, and 28 in Salisaw, Oklahoma. 57 degrees in Manhattan, New York, where Chuck currently is posted high above his broadcast position, looking down on the rest of us in our cold weather. How is it up north,
it was
buddy?
57. Well, it's
you have a wind
it's
advisory.
unseasonably warm. Yeah, it's evidently unseasonably warm. And I noticed last night it was colder before we went into the arena than it was when we came out. And it was, it was after midnight here when we got out of there, and it felt a little bit warmer.
Did you sleep okay? Did you guys go out?
I just thought you'd
and
be interested
party,
to know that.
Yeah, well, I am.
No.
I actually am more interested in whether you wore a scarf to the game.
I did not wear a scarf to the game. Okay. I did not go that far, although you see a lot of scarves around here. I mean, you see a lot of scarves. And but no, I didn't get into that. I have my own vision of what New York was like for you and what you did while you were there. They had scenics of the Rockefeller Center and the Christmas tree, and I pictured Chuck strolling out of the game, walking down Broadway or whatever, and just kind of like maybe rolling into one of those many places that are open after midnight, and just kind of pulling up, putting his overcoat on the back of a bar stool, and having an old-fashioned and a smile, and thinking about telling him how much I love New York. I love the city.
Yeah.
I love the city. I love this place. I feel the energy.
Yeah.
Put on some Sinatra.
Yeah. And then my other vision was you trying to wake up this morning to do the show, and I just kind of see you get up. You probably got your Christmas PJs on, and a button down, and kind of find the coffee maker. And then I wondered, is this one of those hotels that's so swanky it doesn't have a coffee maker that you got to go downstairs to get the coffee? Because that's the worst.
I actually had to go downstairs.
That is the worst.
But it was my fault. It was my fault because yesterday I forgot to take the Do Not Disturb sign off the door. And so there was no service. And therefore there was no coffee. And so I had to put on my trousers, go downstairs, and get some coffee. Yes. So,
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time or two already this morning. I thought, what am I doing?
Right.
But I do have coffee now.
You're basking in the glow of an 89-87 win over 14.
That's right. Where's my coffee?
Michigan. 877-377-6963. In other news, Braylon Russell is not in the transfer portal. He was nicked up the final couple games of the season, and then he's in the transfer portal, and he's not in the transfer portal yesterday. I mean, people were doing like 40 minutes of shows on it, or longer. And they're, it's the whole world's falling apart. And now Braylon Russell's in the transfer portal. And we've got a reporter that's like screenshotting text with Braylon Russell and tweeting, he lied to me. I mean, this is absolute chaos. Absolute chaos.
It really is absolute chaos. I mean, it is.
It's just like people don't know what to do with what feels like a mass exodus to the program. And we talked about it yesterday. We'll continue to talk about it. That whatever side of the fence you're on, 6-6 as it relates to the head coach, and 6-6 probably means you're split down the middle, or at least you've got plenty of people that are vocal about wanting a change. And these people immediately just go to this and say, see, the program is falling apart. See, this guy's not fit to lead the program. And you might be right about somebody being better to lead the program. And by the way, I don't recall us really sitting here and even getting into that discussion. We've simply painted the picture of where Arkansas is, the challenges it faces, and what they have to figure out and overcome. And that turns into, we're the biggest supporters of the current head coach of all time. And if you want to feel that way, it's fine. But what happens is as soon as something goes wrong, if you're already under the belief that or not even go wrong, as soon as it appears that something's not great, you automatically begin blaming the head coach and saying, that he's clearly doing something wrong here. And I get it. It felt like that. It was a wave of like loss. Over the last 2 days, it's been that way. It feels like you're losing a game like every 2 or 3 hours because another announcement of somebody hitting the transfer portal. But I'll just caution everyone and remind everyone that this is a long game. It's like overreacting to being down 3 points or a touchdown in the first half. Because there's a long game to play here. And we don't know. Like today, the news finally comes in. Here, I was hearing this yesterday. Well, like everybody's leaving and nobody's coming here. Everybody's leaving and nobody's coming here. Well, for the portal opened on Monday. Like it takes a while.
There's going to be guys visit this weekend.
Yeah, it takes
There's going to
be
guys visit this weekend, and there may be some commitments this weekend. I don't know. But it's going to happen fast, and it's going to start in earnest. It is starting in earnest. Here's the thing. I mean, you can jump to 12 conclusions a day if you're not careful. How many people last night with about 10 minutes to play in the first half, or when Michigan was up by 15 with 6.5 to go, I don't think this Cal thing's going to work. I mean, they're throwing all this money at it. All we've done so far is spend a whole bunch of money. This is not going to work. I could hear it. I mean, you and I both know those conversations were taking place in the first half last night. By the end of the night, it's, oh, man, we're back in the spotlight, baby. We're back in the high life. This is where we belong. This is what we expected. This is what we deserve. And, you know, things can change in a heartbeat's my point. There are going to be guys that are going to start coming in here this weekend, and they're going to, between now and the start of this semester after the first of the year, there's going to be a lot that are going to commit. Some are going to commit sight unseen. Some are going to need to come here and get a feel for it all before they say yes. There's going to be plenty of new players. Think about all the players over the last couple of years you've come to enjoy watching, and you didn't even know who they were 3 years ago because they played somewhere else. There are going to be guys like that come in. And for those who are adamant about the necessity for change or the need for change, you're not going to be convinced. And people can talk until they're blue in the face, and you're still going to feel the same way you feel. If they get to November next year and you're in the hunt, you might change your mind, but probably not. My point is that people are going to be arguing about this into the season next year, probably until the end of the season next year. But we have no idea what this roster is going to look like when the transfer portal wraps up and the new semester begins. We're in the first stage, and it's not the pleasant part. But my point is, just draw an analogy to the basketball game last night. We want to jump to conclusions, and I mean we can go off for 10 or 15 minutes, and then something happens, and it's like, oh, never mind. That's just kind of how it works.
Oh, never mind. Well, and it's fun. Look, it's fun to watch an entire game and have an emotional roller coaster and the ups and downs and all that. And it's fine to react at the moment. I think what we try to do here is say things like you just said. Like, yeah, I get it. Feels that way. But there's another side to see here. There's another thing to look at. And the reality of the transfer portal is we can all react to it when it's done. When it's all over, when like it's recruiting, it's the new recruiting season. We used to follow or talk about recruiting leading up to National Signing Day, and we would have a bunch of reaction for 4 or 5 days or a couple of weeks, and then the signing class would actually appear, and it would be, here it is, and then that's what the real reaction is going to be about. Like that's real because it's done. Everything before that is slightly premature. By the way, I was so happy for Bart, Chuck, because I got on wholehogsports.com as I do daily. Shout out to our local newspaper and the online website. And I get on there, and what are people writing about today? And they're talking about the transfer portal, and the headline is players reporting offers from Arkansas that are in the transfer portal. And right there, front and center, is a New Mexico player pictured.
Yeah. Wow.
He's been trying to tell us all year that the Lobos are coming to Fayetteville. How many
I'll give
players?
Bart this.
Yeah.
I thought more about New Mexico in the last 2 or 3 months than I have in my entire life. I might see a license plate every now and then and think about New Mexico.
Oh, it's a fixture.
And I remember that time I drove through the Painted Desert. But then Bart turns it into sports, and I would have never imagined.
It's a picture. It's a fixture. A picture in your mind of Bart and the locks and the amount of wins, the amount of money he's gotten on the backs of the Lobos, and now some of them might be coming to Fayetteville. It's the Chuck and Bo Show. It's 6:34. Hogs beat Michigan last night, and everybody's smiling. Back in a minute.
Chuck, I believe this is all your fault.
Yeah,
I believe
thank you.
Bo.
Thank you. And it's because he doesn't have YouTube TV for starters.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
This This holiday season, make your moments unforgettable with a gift from Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. From brilliant diamonds to vibrant gemstones and timeless watches, Blakeman's has something for everyone on your list. Our team is here to guide you in finding the perfect piece, whether it's a token of love, appreciation, or holiday celebration. Visit us in Rogers and see why Blakeman's Fine Jewelry is Northwest Arkansas's go-to destination for gifts that shine. Having great vision enhances every part of life. That's why I go to McDonald Eye Associates. Whether it's a pair of readers or LASIK surgery, you know you're in good hands. You've heard former quarterback and now coach Ty Story talk about his great LASIK results with McDonald Eye. The surgeons there have done more LASIK procedures than anybody in the state of Arkansas and have helped numerous athletes get better results through improved vision. When it comes to vision, nobody sees it like McDonald Eye.
We bring in players. They didn't grow up with a Woo Big Chili. They don't bleed hog red. They bleed money.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
How long is this countdown? What it was like a decade ago.
Hey, man is out there with energy. I can tell you one thing. He's a Hall of Fame coach. There's nothing else to say. I mean, when you're in Naismith, you know what you're doing. So he's doing a great job right now getting back in his game.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
He's going to get it done.
'Tis the season for Hardee's handcrafted goodness. Made from scratch buttermilk biscuits pulled fresh from the oven. The return of special traditions like salty sweet candied bacon. And faithful friends like Hardee's cinnamon raisin biscuits gathered near to us and served all day, all season long. From icing drizzled biscuits to savory charbroiled burgers, unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. And now enjoy breakfast till noon. Available for limited time at participating locations. Items may vary.
I like my team. We just...
Hey, Ty Richardson for a cut above lawn and landscaping. Does your yard need to be serviced in the fall and winter months? Of course. A cut above is with you every step of the way. Whether it's commercial or residential, a cut above can handle all your needs. Tree service, stump grinding, brush hog, full landscaping. Plus, a cut above can take care of all your leaf removal. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. That's a cut above, 719-5605.
Then I started
When you
thinking,
need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Ty Richardson here at Wheeler Powersports as we gear up for Christmas. Simon, you're the guy to come see.
We have new inventory in stock such as the Kawasaki Mule 4010, Kawasaki KX 450 SR, KO S70, Polaris Ranger Crew XP 1000 North Star and Camo, and the Polaris Sportsman 570 Hunting Edition. Give us a call or text us at 479-783-5822.
901 North 11th Street in downtown Fort Smith, Wheeler Powersports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
It's that time of year. Longer nights and colder weather can mean higher energy bills. But Arkansas Oklahoma Gas wants to help you save on your energy costs this winter. A healthy heating system equals a happy home and wallet. Ensure it runs efficiently by scheduling regular maintenance with a licensed technician. Adjust ceiling fans to spin clockwise to help push warm air down. Keep your thermostat on a lower setting, health allowing, and layer up on clothing. For more money-saving tips, visit AOGC.com/winter.
Hey, this is Dr. Charlie Liggett at River Valley Smile Center. You may know me as your local dentist, but I'm a giant Hogs, Dolphins, and college baseball fan as well. Listen to me, Phil, and Matt talk about our 3 ups and downs for the weekend every Monday on halftime at 12:15. At River Valley Smile Center, we're a comprehensive dental facility that offers children's dentistry, dental implants, sedation, whitening, and much, much more. Dr. Cole Johnson, Dr. Hannah Cabe, and myself are located at 8309 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith. River Valley Smile Center. When you come here, you become family.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jam Mart. Brad Tyson and their entire team are so thankful this time of year during the holidays. We appreciate all of our customers that enjoy the Beverage Bar at Boonville, the hot food at Phoenix, and the deli at Jam Mart number 10. We know you're loving the updated pumps at our gas stations, and we're continuing to strive to find new creative ways to improve every single day. If you love Jam Mart, please leave us a 5-star review on Google. Happy holidays from your friends at Jam Mart.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're breaking up on me, but
I'm breaking up
well,
on you.
my headphones
I'm 3
weren't.
feet from
Well,
you.
but my headphones
Chuck-
weren't working. They cut out. You're breaking up on me.
If the headphones go down, Chuck goes wild.
Well, I
He's like,
can't hear you.
I can't hear.
I can't.
You're breaking up on me.
You are.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I like my team. We got work to do. But we got a high ceiling. We really do.
Oh, I think that's a pretty good way to put it. They do have a high ceiling, and I think we saw for a good bit of the game last night what that ceiling can be. I mean, they got guys, Bo, that can make plays with the game on the line. There's nothing wrong with making a great play with, 10:42 to play. But being able to make a play down the stretch or being able to make a play in the final moment, that's what they've got. And, last night, Nelly got beat on that cut at the end, but he was a good enough player that he was able to recover and knock the ball away. And they've got guys who can make plays on both ends like that at critical moments.
We root for stories, and Trevin Brazil's one of them. 22nd birthday, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals in 26 minutes. Made a huge block at the end. Showed the player that we've all seen flashes of, but as more of a complete basketball player. Well, this guy's coming back from a massive knee surgery and, a turnover on staffs and finding his way on Cal's roster. Sometimes it doesn't always work out from a timing perspective and a circumstance, but for TB, this may have ended up being a real blessing in disguise to end up in this kind of situation, playing for a guy like Cal, all these great players, and he's a factor, and he was a factor last night, and felt really good for him. Boogie Flan had 100 people at the game. He's from 30 minutes away, had 100 people at the game, and you just wonder how that affects somebody. Man, that guy he's ice. I mean, Boogie Flan just shows up every night.
He's a player. They played 10 games, and now in 5 of them, he's had at least 7 assists. We think about the scoring, but it's the way he sees his teammates. Brazil may look back and talk about how John Calipari being hired at Arkansas is the greatest break of his basketball life. Because, I got to tell you the truth. I didn't know if they would keep him. I was a little bit surprised, quite honestly, when they did. And he's gotten a lot better. And the thing I liked was when Cal first came in and started talking about Brazil, he said, you can't stand out at the three-point line when you're 6'11" or 6'10". You got to be able to get in there and mix it up. And I thought he was a monster last night and played the type game that people have envisioned him playing. He played like a guy who was 6'10", as opposed to a guy that, wants to be a three-point shooter all the time. He made a 3 last night. It was his 2nd of the year, but he's affected a lot of the games he's been in without that.
You were talking about the swing of emotions during the game. If he doesn't make one of those free throws and he doesn't make that block at the end of the game, that's all we're talking about today, how he goes 0 for 4 at the free throw line down the stretch. He went 1 for 3, made a critical block. This is how quickly things can change and how we talk about it and how people talk about it. No doubt. But I was happy for him. DJ Wagner and Boogie played like the guards that Bill Self said they were coming out of the Kansas game. Flan had 20. Wagner had 16. He had 5 assists, and they played minutes, man. Wagner played 35 minutes. Boogie played 37 minutes. Man, they're fun to watch. And I know it hasn't been like this all year, but it does seem like when they play in a big spotlight, and they got off to a rough start in Kansas City on Thanksgiving. But I just kind of felt like, with the lights being bright last night, you were going to see something different from this team. And certainly you got that. And you know what they can be now. And I don't even know if we've scratched the surface. The problem is the league's just so difficult I mean, it just really is. And you know, there are no easy games. That's going to be, I think, going to be a lot of close games, Chuck, in conference play.
Oh, there's going to be some games that are just wildly entertaining. There's going to be close games. There may be some blowouts. There are teams in our league that are good enough, even against other good teams, that if they're having a bad night, they can run them out. But I do suspect we're going to have some games like last night where, you know, everybody's on the edge of their seats till the very end. And, you know, here's the thing we have to remember. We're 10 games into the John Calipari era. 10 games. And you think about what we've seen in 10 games. You talk about jumping to conclusions. Because we've played the big games. We've played the type opponents that get people talking, that spur conversation, that get people interested. You played in Madison Square Garden last night. You know, look at the trek this team's taken, just where they've played in the first 10 games of the Calipari era. They played at American Airlines Center in Dallas. Now, I'm not even counting the exhibition games. You know, you've gone to Miami. You played in Madison Square Garden. I mean, that's 10 games in. So there's a lot more to go. There's at least 25 games or so left this season, and this season's got a lot left in it, and we're just getting started with Calipari as the head coach.
We mentioned Karl Anthony Towns. He plays for the Knicks, was at the game last night. They interviewed him during the telecast.
The one thing about Cal, he'll sell you a blank CD and say it's a deluxe. so all I know is he's going to get it done.
He was talking about going in there and getting the team turned around at halftime.
Oh, and whatever he said worked. Because they came out and kept that momentum going that they'd established late in the first half. And, again, I said it earlier. There were points I thought Michigan was going to win by 20, and I thought the Hogs were going to win by 20, and then it comes down to the last shot.
877-377-6963. We will react more to the transfer portal. We're getting some text this morning I want to comment on. Chuck's in New York with us for a bit longer before he heads to the airport and comes back to a much cooler Fayetteville than the 57 degrees that Manhattan currently is enjoying, while we're sitting at 32 degrees Fahrenheit on a Wednesday morning at 6:46. It's the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
When they do that, they can hear our off-air conversations, and I always want to know whether or not anybody can hear us.
We know how you are off air. It's something to be aware
of that.
Yeah, it's something to be aware of.
I know.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Did you know the CDC reports as many as 3 out of 4 Americans suffer from sleep disorders? The more severe condition is called obstructive sleep apnea, and if left untreated, can increase the risk of death by 17%. It can also lead to conditions like obesity, high blood pressure, heart condition, and stroke. If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options, and thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies provided by one of our own Arkansas surgeons, Dr. Scotty Bolding, there are alternative treatments that may eliminate the need to wear CPAP every night. Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better. Call Dr. Bolding's office today at 479-755-3000 for a consultation and tell them you heard it on the Chuck and Bo Show.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
You know, there's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state, and you can add Flyway Brewing to the list, a craft brewery with roots in North Little Rock dating back to 2013. With popular flavors like Blue Wing Berry Wheat Ale, the Honeybird Blonde, and the Early Bird IPA, there's no shortage to enjoy a tasty craft beer flight at the Flyway Brewery in Fayetteville, 1550 East Scion Road, or in North Little Rock at 314 Maple Street. Flyway Craft Beer, also available in restaurants and stores everywhere.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Just thinking, what is a Pirates' favorite college football team?
Say it, Bart.
Arkansas.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, Ty Richardson here at First Financial Mortgage. My mortgage lender, Ethan Adamson. Ethan, congratulations, over 300 five-star reviews.
Yeah, Ty, we pride ourselves on delivering a five-star service during the entire mortgage process.
What sets you apart from everyone else?
I think communication, how quickly we work, we get you closed on time or early. Call 479-782-9300. Weekdays 8 to 5, ffb1.com. First Financial Mortgage, in the business of you, equal housing lender.
Over the river and through the woods, to Salisaw we go. Mock Legal Solutions is opening a second location to serve our Eastern Oklahoma clients. 105 East Chickasaw. For divorce and custody, let us give you the Christmas gift of a new start. And for personal injury, we will get you a settlement check when Grandma gets run over by that reindeer. 918-238-2363. Or check out our website at mocklegalsolutions.com. Free intakes and payment plans available. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
It's Ty Richardson with owner and operator Cecil Gardner with Jazzco Graphics, 16 years in the industry. Cecil, this is the one-stop shop.
Yes, Jazzco Graphics Design, the one-stop shop, 2415 Midland, for your custom or buck order.
Why ESPN 95.3?
I really enjoy listening in, and it keeps my day going while I'm at work. Jazzco Graphics Design, 2415 Midland. It's on the corner of Midland and Kelly. Jazzco Graphics, the one-stop shop.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I don't think you can feel that sitting in a chair with catered food and any kind of beverage that you want. I think you need to be in a skybox at a stadium with catered food.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Justin Timberlake was in Little Rock last night, and he started. What's that?
North Little Rock.
North Little Rock.
It's a
on the North Shore.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. Big thing. You're right. Is it Verizon?
Simmons Bank.
Simmons Bank Arena.
I always have to check. We're playing there Saturday.
All right, can we start the segment over? Justin Timberlake, 3, 2, 1. Justin Timberlake was in North Little Rock last night. And,
really?
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah. And he mentions in the middle of the concert that we could play a little bit of it.
He said the Razorbacks just beat Michigan.
And they started calling the Hogs. And then he started trying to talk, and they weren't done with the hog call. And so he stopped.
They weren't done.
they finished, and he's like, oh, it was kind of like in real time. He's like, oh, that was really cool to be in the middle of this. And but he was talking about Cal, and the celebrity endorsements that Cal gets, Chuck, is like it's political like. It's like he's running for office. I mean, it's everywhere.
You know, Cal, for the longest time in his career, I mean, was just like, unless he was coaching your team, I mean, he was just universally hated. But times passed, and, you know, even when he was at Kentucky, and he would pull some of the stuff he'd get players, you know, and you'd wonder how in the world they were doing that. You couldn't help but just kind of shake your head and smile a little bit, because it's like, hey, he's been doing this a long time. He's seen it all. I mean, you want to talk about somebody that's seen it all. And it's hard not to like the guy. I didn't hate him the way a lot of people did when he was at Kentucky. I've got to be honest. I've always just kind of shook my head and smiled, you know, when he was coaching the other team, and I'm glad he's coaching ours now.
Well, there was a shirt last night that a fan showed on TV, and they panned in on it, and it said, "I've always hated," and hated was crossed out, and then loved Cal. And that's true. That's the reality.
Oh, it is.
Of having him as your coach. All right, go get ready for the airport.
All right,
have a safe
thanks,
trip
guys.
back. Yeah,
see you
thanks
tomorrow.
For hopping on for the hour. Chuck always answers the bell.
I enjoyed it.
He always answers the bell. Tell everybody we said hi and blow a kiss to the.
They were asking about you.
The big city. I'm sure they were. I'm quite certain that was the topic as you guys kind of made your way through the streets of the Big Apple. All right, Chuck, have a great day.
Isn't it fun when you win? Isn't it fun when you win?
It doesn't feel great. Let's just take a moment and breathe it in.
That's right.
The Chuck and Bo
Do
Show.
it.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweat-N-Em Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to sweatnomcosmetic.com and click on the Sweat-N-Em Edge.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
'Tis the holiday season, a special delight, with gifts all around and spirits so bright. Watch closely now, for there's one more surprise, a gift that brings comfort with joy in our eyes. The family rejoices, their excitement takes flight. With a new Pascal heated air system, they're snug every night. Give your family the gift of true comfort with over $5,100 in savings. Plus, receive a whole home duct cleaning on qualifying systems. Special financing available with no payments and no interest. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
There's nothing like a college football Saturday, a few beers, your phone, and Twitter.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. It'll be quite breezy today with northwesterly winds 15 to 30 miles per hour. Mainly clear. A cold one tonight, overnight low in the upper 20s. Back to sunshine, a high in the low to mid 50s on a Thursday and Friday. Chance of showers back in the 50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
It's fall cleanup time at Gray Brothers Equipment. From the large M7 Series cab Kubotas to the L2502, the best-selling compact tractor in Arkansas and Oklahoma. Gray Brothers and Kubota will make your fall cleanup a breeze. With great pricing and interest rates as low as 0% for 84 months, they're making fall cleanup enjoyable again at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon. Now through 12/31/2024, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
You're listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris Fort Smith.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be a smart aleck like that.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson. We're live at Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, 9700 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Gail, we got spring weddings coming up.
A lot of brides are planning their weddings for spring, and Rainwater's is ready to get them all set up, match up your colors, make all your guys look good. Come to Rainwater's, you get to try it on immediately, and you know that it fits, and we'll take care of you.
When you stop by, make sure to tell Gail and his staff that Ty sent you.
Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, because it's fun to look good.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirits Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson, and we are live at Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District. Jose, but what we got whipping up today, man?
Man, today's special, we have the French toast turkey melt, kind of a special sandwich. It really didn't put us on the map, but it did put a star by our name.
Daily specials every day at the award-winning Lily's Sandwich Shop. And if you don't believe me, ask Lily.
My name is Lily. My papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
It's just sort of like a tie.
It's a tie game.
It just feels like
That's
a
right.
tie.
Kissing your sister.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that because
Let me
I'm
say
not
it
sure
for
it's
you.
allowed anymore.
I don't care.
I'm not talking about kissing your sister. I'm talking about talking about it. I'm not sure it's. I don't know.
What are you going to fire me?
Well,
you guys going to fire me?
I am no
Am
longer.
I going to be forced out? Am I going to be forced out because I said it's like kissing your sister?
I'm no longer the head of HR. We've hired Eddie from Clarksville.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a call play, and I called it, Chuck.
Back to Save Sports Radio.
I'm ready to roll right now,
Can you believe we're doing this?
This brings back.
Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio.
Here is Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
I say it's big because it shows what we can be. You know, what we have the potential to be. Our ceiling, there's really no ceiling.
Boogie Flan, no ceiling for Arkansas. 20 points, 7 assists, just part of the onslaught. The Razorbacks had a huge second half and an 89-87 win over Michigan. Went down to the wire. Looked like Michigan was going to blow Arkansas out about midway through the first half, and then midway through the second half, it looked the opposite. Arkansas was going to blow Michigan out, and then It kind of leveled out. Arkansas went a little cold for about 6 minutes, or real cold, couldn't make a field goal, but found a way to win and really played, I think, maybe their most complete game, especially in that atmosphere against that kind of opponent. And as Chuck said to end last hour, man, it feels good to win. Breathe it in, right? 877-377-6963. I keep saying we'll get to some of the transfer portal conversation. The conversation that I want to eventually get into a little bit. I got an interesting text this morning, and Chuck's on his way back, by the way. He's going to hop on a plane and come back to Fayetteville. I thought he was just going to stay in New York, to be honest. I didn't know if he would come back, but turns out he likes it here. I mean, a couple days in the big city, and he's ready to come home. And I don't blame him. But Ryan in Prairie Grove said, Bo, when all we hear is 25 people leave in 3 business days, we all start thinking something's wrong. And I totally get that. It makes a lot of sense. I feel like, and not everybody does, I guess, I feel like our job in the media, if you have a microphone, if you have a platform, is to help explain all that's happening. And I'm not trying to be defensive here. When people take that as you're defending what's happening, I get a little defensive about that. Because that's not what we're doing. That's not what I'm doing. But I'm disappointed with people who have a platform and don't bother to explain what's happening and what the process is. And that even though for a day or two, Arkansas might have more players in the transfer portal than anyone else, if you just take that at face value and say the whole thing's in shambles, you're not taking the whole picture in. It could be if we wake up in a week or 2 weeks and Arkansas doesn't have any players, then you got a problem. But last year, virtually the same number of players were in the transfer portal the first day it was open that were in the portal this year. Last year, Colorado, who just had a really good season, we were all calling them a dumpster fire, and this Dion thing's not working because 41 players were in the portal. So as a fan, I always just ask you, do you want to have an educated opinion? In other words, you can still have the same opinion, but just get some context, get like the whole story. Get a full opinion. It doesn't mean your opinion then is right or wrong, or mine's right or wrong. It's just I like to have more information than surface level. I'm fine with knowing it's 32 degrees in Fayetteville right now. I don't need a lot of explanation as to why or what got us to that point. That's fine. Some things are surface level. But when it comes to like some sweeping opinion of the direction of a program based on X number of players in the transfer portal, there can be more to the story. I mean, last year they lost, 3 of their best players in like week 1? This year they've lost 1 of their best players. And now we're finally getting the news back, like, oh, this guy's in the portal. By the way, there's like 1,500 people in the portal now. I think it was almost double that last year, around double that by the time the portal was over. Many of these guys, not talking about Arkansas guys, but in general, won't ever come out of the portal. But there's so many talented players in the portal. So many talented players in the portal that there's enough to go around if you're an SEC program. That's how Vanderbilt made a move this year. That's how Arkansas made a move this year. Will they be able to capitalize in the portal and make another move next year? That'll be the conversation. But this day-to-day wringing of hands and freaking the flip out about every move and every moment is fine. Just know that that's just an emotional moment. And certain people with platforms just fuel your fire and say it back to you and go, I know, it sucks. People are taking things out of our house and we don't know why. No, they're moving. It's called they're moving. That'd be like showing up for a move and people are moving things in your house. It's moving time. It's the portal. This is the new world we live in. Andy Staples coming up at the bottom of the hour to talk about it from On3. College football, longtime reporter, podcaster, will join us to give us a little perspective on what the portal and this world of college football looks like right now. 877-377-6963. Let's go to the calls. Who do we have?
Let's go to Danny in Russellville.
Danny, good morning. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Good morning, guys. I'll be honest. I have transfer portal fatigue. I'm tired of it.
Well, you can't open social media without reading about it.
Right. It's so much fun, that game last night. And, okay, so Arkansas beats Michigan. Kentucky beats Gonzaga. Missouri beats Kansas. They go 14-2 in the challenge. And my question is, how many conference games do you predict that the Razorbacks will win, considering this conference is going to beat each other up? And I was just curious about that, and see what you guys think about it. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, I haven't done that evaluation. I like, in football, it's easier to go through the schedule and everybody sort of picks a win total.
Right.
Basketball is more difficult, and I don't think we know enough about all the teams yet, because just like Arkansas, other teams are figuring it out. Some teams will come out of the gate hot, falter a little bit or a lot. Some teams, I think, like Arkansas, will take a little bit longer to develop. And what will their ceiling be? And I believe you're going to see, John Rothstein said, by the way, who's a longtime respected college basketball reporter, that he thinks this is a 10-team league getting in the NCAA tournament, 10 bids out of this league. Now, that would be a record, I believe.
Yeah, and it might be. I mean, there's a chance it could be more than that.
So to try to answer your question, I think if you go 500 in this league, it's been a good season. I'm talking about anybody. When I think you're going to see a lot of sort of movement there. I don't know that anybody's going to run away with the league, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No, I think it's going to be a pretty tight race throughout the season. I mean, I think between Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, A&M, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Arkansas, like those are your teams that are probably. And I probably named one too many there, but those are the teams that are going to be battling it out for the league title this year.
Do you have a prediction, Mr. College Basketball aficionado?
Oh, I don't. I think it's impossible to predict. There are too many good teams. There are just too many good teams.
Well, I was just trying
to
get you to take the bait.
Yeah, I know.
Predicting makes fools of us all.
Yeah. Look, I think to answer his question, I think Arkansas is going to be in most, if not all, the. I mean, look, in college basketball, you're bound to have an off night every once in a while, but like Arkansas is just as good as any of these teams. And so I would expect them to have a fine SEC record and, be in good position for the NCAA tournament.
877-377-6963. Who's next?
Dan's in Crossit.
Dan, good morning. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, Bo. Again, I always appreciate the time on your platform because it is your platform, and so I appreciate it. I don't want you to think that's lost on.
We're happy to share it with you.
And I think the basketball team is, I think it's a good reference point for the football program. Like, we can see it, right? You can see the basketball team improving, right? Like, they're going to have to work on those slow starts. But you can see where this team, I mean, I see it already, the improvement and the potential, and we know come February, it's going to be a better basketball team than what it is right now. And that's what you hope for, and that's what you expect. And I think on top of the transfer portal, Bo, it's the way that we finished the season, right? Like 2-5.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, some real butt kicking in that 2-5, right? And Luke Haas is going to end up at LSU or Ole Miss or Alabama. He's going to be on the other side next year. We're going to get our teeth kicked in by one of those teams and watch him be the player that we know he can be. And it just makes it all that more frustrating and infuriating. And I'll tell you what really concerns me is, we talked about Kudus and how he had told Sam, don't worry about the red shirt, I'm not going anywhere. there's more players like Sam is really disconnected with some of these guys. And I understand that they're young men. They change their minds. They may say one thing and really mean it and intend to have a change of heart or a change of plan. But, I'm concerned that he just doesn't have the pulse of some of these key guys from the team last year. And that's concerning. It just is. And I just don't see – I know we had 2 more wins than we did last year. But, I mean, really, we beat a bad Mississippi State team. And we got a good win at Auburn that we shouldn't expect. We got a win over Tennessee that we shouldn't have got. And I'll give him credit for that. But I don't think we've seen the improvement like we want, and that's just not much hope for next year.
I understand. Let me ask you this. What do you want?
Well, and that's, I feel like we're asleep at the wheel. Like, we have, and I understand Sam had a big surgery, and I'll be honest with you. I think towards the end of the year, I think his physical pain, Bo, impacted his coaching job, and I think that's realistic. I think for somebody to think that it did not is fooling themselves. He was in obvious pain the last several weeks of the season. There's no doubt, no fault of his own, and that kind of thing has to bleed over into your professional life. But and then I think the Luke has. I think he's the big concern. Right, Bo? Like, nobody thinks that this guy is going from school to school to see as much money. In my mind, this is a guy with the potential 10, 12-year NFL career ahead of him, right? And if he feels like we're not the best place to help grow him into that's a problem, I feel like.
Would you feel the same way if Luke Haas just left to forego, we'll call it just for hypotheticals, his senior year for the NFL draft? Would you feel the same way?
Absolutely.
I mean, would you feel like, oh my gosh, we can't replace the guy? We can't. There's no chance we're going to replace the guy. He just left for the NFL. We're screwed. Would you feel that way?
I wouldn't, and I feel like we can find a comparable player to him, Bo. I do, but it's more of the issue of losing him. Right?
I think it's more of the issue of losing.
Is that a microcosm of a bigger? It's a microcosm of a bigger problem, I'm afraid.
Well, but is it? But we don't. Do we know that? And what I'm saying is, once the transfer portal's all said and done, and players have all said where they're going to go, and then we may still not know the final results until we see them on the field. But when that's all said and done, I mean, Andrew Armstrong came from East Texas Commerce. They're calling it now. Andrew Armstrong, despite what the SEC said yesterday, is the should be a first-team All-SEC wide receiver. He's second.
Absolutely.
So we don't know where all these guys come from. Doesn't necessarily tell us how good they are. But my point is, what we have to understand if we want to make a proper evaluation or a fair and accurate evaluation is that this is the system that we have in college athletics now. You have free agency. And so people can leave at any time for any reason. And Luke Haas may have left because he didn't get the ball enough. And the other side of that is maybe they don't pay Luke Haas enough because he didn't produce enough. Whose fault is it? So let's just say it's Arkansas's fault. Let's just say the offense screwed it up and they lost Luke Haas. But they lost him. The difference now is you have a chance to immediately replace him with maybe somebody as good. I don't know if it'll be somebody as good. But the question will be the sum of everything they get. Does it amount to a better roster? Like, we didn't know who any of these linebackers were coming into the year. They ended up being better at linebacker as a group than they were last year. I'm not telling you that everything's great. I'm also not willing to say everything's terrible. I want to see it play out. And I think this reaction to somebody leaving and it suddenly being a referendum on how bad the program is really more about just how we feel about the overall program, which is not great when you're 6-6. But they decided that Sam Pittman was good enough to keep for what I believe will be one more year. Maybe it's longer, but my just guess is it'll be one more year. And they do have a chance to improve their roster. That chance is happening now in the transfer portal. The real question to me, and the one that I think matters the most, is will they get it done? Back with more of your calls coming up at 7:18 on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Chuck and Bo, it's always an honor and pleasure to be with you. You know I don't do a lot of these in the course of my season.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
Save up to $15,000 off. The Red Tag savings are back at Chevrolet of Fayetteville. Your choice. Save up to $15,000 off new Silverados or up to $15,000 off new Blazer EVs. That's how we do Red Tag savings at Chevrolet of Fayetteville in the Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show. Together, let's drive. ChevroletofFayetteville.com. Savings include dealer discounts and all incentives on select models. Must qualify. See dealer for details. Expires 12/2/24.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweatnum Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to SweatnumCosmetic.com and click on the Sweatnum Edge.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You hear that? You hear that?
Back to Safe Sports Radio.
Fall is here, and that means cooler weather, football, and family, which makes it the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart, your family's #1 tire store. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is ready for anything fall brings your way. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Are you tired of processed meat and flimsy sandwiches? Subchain's gotten your last nerve? Then I have the place for you. Come see my buddy Josefa at Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District in downtown Fort Smith. Locally sourced meat sliced daily and fresh breads from Harvest Moon Bakery. Daily specials announced on Facebook, including the Poke Bowl every Friday and Saturday. For to-go orders, call 479-567-3403.
My name is Lily. My Baba makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
Valley Family Dental, formerly known as Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients better lives with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, now offering same-day crown service. Mention you heard this ad on ESPN Radio at your next appointment and receive a free bleaching kit or $100 off in-office accelerated whitening. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
Come join ESPN and Trailer Honda from 11 to 2 this Saturday for a special day of fundraising for Heart to Heart Pregnancy Center. Come join us for cookies and Dr. Peppers and help collect diapers, baby bottles, formula, or even cash as we try to win the friendly competition against Road Chevrolet. All donations are for Heart to Heart Pregnancy Care Center here in Fort Smith. All donations are appreciated. See you Saturday from 11 to 2 at Trailer Honda.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
At 5 o'clock this morning, I was like, I don't think I can go. I don't think I can answer the
And
bell.
by 7:30, he's changing the world.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, Chuck called the game last night, was on the first hour, headed back from the Big Apple. We're doing it without him. You know, it's tough without a Hall of Famer, but we're here. Charlie's in Camden. Hey, Charlie, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
What up? Well, I mean, you know, Chuck is not here today, but the Hall of Famer is probably snoring as we speak. You said he's on the plane?
He's on
coming
his
on
way
back.
there. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if Chuck will be able to nap this early in the day.
Yeah, does Chuck sleep that much? Because it just sometimes
He's old,
You know,
so when you get old, you don't really sleep as much. Tell him I said that. By the way, can you use that as a drop? He's old, doesn't sleep that much, doesn't need it, doesn't care.
I mean, and I say this every time I call, but every time Eddie calls, you guys should just have a button over there that just presses Eddie. It says Eddie, and you're just recording it. You're all of it, and I've heard him, and all the, leading up to coming back from the break. So you just take a quote. Has he called and screamed today yet? Has he called and
next.
given us a song yet?
He's on deck.
Oh, hey, Eddie, I love you. I'm just messing with you. You know that.
You're the lead-in.
I don't want him to come after me. But he knows that I'm a big fan of his. But I will say this. That basketball game last night, what a win. What a game. And you talked about it, Bo, but to get down early, this team, though, let's be honest. You think about the Baylor game, they got punched in the mouth, they fought back. Illinois, a few plays here or there, maybe they could put some more game pressure on them. The thing about it is Cal keeps pointing out the truth, and people need to listen. This team has not been healthy. So to sit here and say that they are a finished product at the moment, anybody who thinks that is crazy. Now, this team, if it can get healthy, and they didn't have Big Z last night, he's going to be a big part of this. Adutiero is out there with the flu. Now, was Richmond the other one that had the flu? Is that correct? Was he the other one that came down with the flu, Bo?
Yeah,
Am I right about that?
I believe he was also sick.
So, and the flu will pass around the team. Hopefully it doesn't. But I'm just saying. So, they need to be cautious with that. But, yeah, man, I mean, look, I give them a lot of credit. And all the things, I want to say this, too. I was thinking about the action that they were defending last night. That 4-5, 5-4 pick and roll, there's not many teams in the country that you're going to see run that have a 7-footer handling the basketball and running a 5-out offense. For them to go against that, I mean, that is just, and to find a way to win. I mean, that Michigan team, y'all, I'm telling y'all right now, that's a good team. That's a really good team. They're going to make a lot of noise in the Big Ten. And you guys talked about SEC basketball, and heck, Cal's talked about it. The big thing is going to be, can you find a way to protect home court in this league? Because when you go on the road, all I got to say is good luck. I don't care where you go, because it's going to be hard to win. Everybody's good. And that's the thing with this team, though, man. The ceiling, they haven't even gotten close to it yet because they haven't gotten healthy enough. So, and as far as this transfer portal, Bo, man, it's okay to have your opinion. And look, I think everybody wants to point to Sam, and there's a problem at the program. There's this, there's that. I just think it's a combination of everything, and you can't grab your finger and just point it out at one thing. And if you sit there and stress about it all the time, you're going to drive yourself nuts. So I'm not going to do that. I'm like you. I'm going to wait and see who we can get to replace some of these guys that we lost and see where this goes. I hate that we lost some of the guys we lost, but I also wish them well. And I want to throw this out there. We wouldn't have got Landon Jackson. We wouldn't have got Drew Sanders. We wouldn't have got Xavier and Torrey without the transfer portal. So it works both ways. Anyways, y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Charlie. Got another text here about what does it say about a program when you can't keep your good players? Well, they're not losing all of them. They're losing a couple of them. And look around the country, and most teams are. In fact, I don't know any team that's not losing at least a good player. I mean, I'm sure you can find one. I just don't know which one it is. They're leaving Alabama. They're leaving LSU. Eddie in Clarksville, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Thanks for taking my call, gentlemen. Good morning to this great, passionate fan base. When you look at our basketball program, which the tradition, and they lived up to that tradition last night. As I grew up under Eddie Sutton and rolling with Nolan, baby. And I tell you what, is there a better basketball environment in the entire country when it's rocking at Bud Walton? It was good to see our guards, Boogie Flynn and Wagner. It was good to see Brazil get a little nasty. I tell you what, you talk about a quad win. That was a good win last night. But you look at the conference, any of these teams will be considered quad wins, and you got to protect home court. Well, come in to Bud Walton, baby. We'll feed you a little. Whoa! Basketball, long delight, baby. I just love it. I'll tell you this, too. Let's get to our football program. I think it would be more, it starts with beating the teams you're supposed to beat in the conference. I think that goes against Coach Pippen. You have to be honest about it. You want to have a competitive program, beat the teams you're supposed to beat. I'm tired of losing to Missouri. I'm tired. And we have a competitive series going to LSU. Well, it seems they flipped it. And it seemed like, we're starting to lose to Ole Miss. That's a program I expect us to beat. And you look at A&M, we're right there to beat them every year. And I tell you this, we find a way I describe it, you find a way to lose. And so, but you get to Luke Haas. First of all, he wasn't an offense. This really perturbs me. First of all, he's not an offensive lineman. There's great talent. He's going to go somewhere, and you don't see his talents on the field. I'll tell you what, we didn't use him right. He's not an offensive line. Oh, why don't you address the offensive line? Then you wouldn't have to use a talent like Haas, to block. But see, that doesn't go well against Coach Pittman either. Let me say this. For 3 years, it perturbs me more. I take great pride in this program. And the Stanley takes great pride in this program. And when I see no improvement on the offensive line, and they say we rank 120th or whatever it is, that's unacceptable. And I'll tell you that. I'll tell the President of the United States. I'll tell the Board of Trustees that. I'll tell Hunter Yurchek that.
Eddie, appreciate you weighing in. We're up against a heartbreak. Always appreciate your opinion. Andy Staples coming up next from On 3. Sorry to cut you short. My bad, but we got to roll. Back in a minute on the Chuck and Bo Show.
What do you think Brian in Ozark was doing under the full moon? I have a vision of some peyote, a tailgate, and a Keystone Light.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
This holiday season, make your moments unforgettable with a gift from Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. From brilliant diamonds to vibrant gemstones and timeless watches, Blakeman's has something for everyone on your list. Our team is here to guide you in finding the perfect piece, whether it's a token of love, appreciation, or holiday celebration. Visit us in Rogers and see why Blakeman's Fine Jewelry is Northwest Arkansas's go-to destination for gifts that shine.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
A great pair. Really honored that you guys are doing this, listening over here in Jonesboro.
We'd like our program to reflect our state, the great state of Arkansas. Loyal, tough, hard-working. One of our goals every year is to make the state of Arkansas proud of the football team. In my office is a sign that says you're not coming to play for the University of Arkansas, you're coming to play for the state of Arkansas.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Finally, football season. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is your #1 place to watch Arkansas and Monday Night Football. During Monday Night Football, $5 refillable beer cups for only $2 refills. Prizes for each score and at the end of every single quarter.
Can you believe that they've had the same great pizza since 1996? That's nearly 30 years.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. You'll get the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y-City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Van. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Hey, this is Dr. Cole Johnson at River Valley Smile Center. You hear my partner, Dr. Charles Liggett, at 12:15 on halftime every Monday. Dr. Liggett and I have worked at River Valley Smile Center together for 11 years now. Like the Hogs, we have a great team. Do you have a unique dental procedure, a complex dental problem, or are you just nervous about dental work? Come see me for sedation dentistry, implants, implant-supported dentures, as well as cosmetic dentistry. We are located at 8309 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith at the River Valley Smile Center. Check us out online at rivervalleysmiles.com or call 479-646-0706.
The holiday season can be stressful. Luckily, Dave and the crew at Eastside Liquor has everything you need for this time of year. Crowded homes, annoying relatives call for peppermint schnapps, or maybe you're just a typical brown water guy. It really doesn't matter, because Eastside Liquor can take care of everything you need. 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith with a convenient drive-thru. And you can call them, 479-452-7311. Eastside Liquor, everyday low prices on beer, wine, spirits, and cigars.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
There's been a couple of times on this show when I've forgotten my phone at home. Same spot. Both times I've left it at the house. And you get here, and it is a...
Where was it, on the back of the toilet?
It was in the bathroom. I'll just put it that way.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Chuck's headed back from New York after a big Arkansas basketball win against Michigan in Madison Square Garden last night. Glad you're with us, listening on the Hit That Line app worldwide and all over the state of Arkansas on the radio. Andy Staples, longtime college football reporter, one of the best out there. On 3 Sports, also has a podcast. You can check him out on YouTube. Joining us. Andy, have you enjoyed the start of the transfer portal season thus far? It seems a little chaotic.
Well, sure, but that's great for people like me and you who do shows. So, I don't know. It's not really any different than it was last year, other than the dollar figures are higher because all the schools are going to have more money to pay once this revenue share starts. So, the agents are busy knocking the schools in the creek just like they do with the coaching salaries.
Yeah, it's free agency, really, and we are in year 2. I feel like the second year, though, it's become, I don't know, we're more aware of it. There's more of it.
This is year 4, Bo. It's been around a while.
Has it been 4 years of you can just leave at any given time? And how much is how much is NIL and how much money you're going to get affected it?
I mean, that's all part of the same thing, and it's affected. I mean, it's the driving force, but there's still a couple things at play. You have to decide. You have to look at what each player's doing, and some players are doing it because they want more money. Some players are doing it because the coaches told them you're not going to have a spot here next year. So there's more of the second group than the first group, but we end up talking about the first group because those are the guys that can help a team when they get there.
I didn't realize it's been that long. That's wild. It's interesting to me that we have, I think, now seen maybe results of it on the field more in terms of how a team can build its roster quickly in the offseason. What would you say the state of college football is right now when you factor all of these things in?
The ratings say it's never been more popular, so people still enjoy watching the games. I think people like complaining about this stuff, but it doesn't really matter. They keep watching the games, and the fact of the matter is this seems to drive interest because if you had a bad season last year and you go get a good portal class, then all of a sudden you're hopeful again. Now, the bad part is if you lose a lot through the portal and you don't replace it, that's a pretty hopeless feeling off season. And so you're going to see some schools with that, but then you'll see some other ones that get a bunch of guys that all of a sudden, this is going to change everything. We got the quarterback we finally needed. It just depends on where we're at. Like Arkansas is an interesting example from last year. Like KJ Jefferson leaves, Taylon Green comes in, and I remember thinking, okay, you traded one fairly large, fairly mobile quarterback for another fairly large, fairly mobile quarterback, but that actually was a trade up because the way KJ was playing, like I saw KJ play at UCF this season in person, and he wasn't that mobile anymore. And it's like, Taylon Green was a definite upgrade. And so that's the thing, is do you net out more positively after this is over, or do you net out negatively? The problem with it is we kind of know by January whether you did or you didn't. And if you didn't, it's going to be a tough, long offseason.
Andy, how much do you think the soon-to-be rev share impacts teams that have struggled maybe in the NIL department? Some have really killed it, and they don't lose to any bidders. And then others have kind of just, they've kind of fought their way, right, to just get a few players and not have as much money. What do you think changes with the upcoming rev share?
I think there are going to be some schools that have not been particularly active or that have been schools that lose a lot of people. Like the schools that lose everybody who winds up being good as a freshman, they're not going to lose all those guys anymore. The one guy I always point to is Dave Clawson at Wake Forest. Dave Clawson is a great coach, good developer, really good evaluator of talent, but they have no NIL money. And so if a player at Wake Forest pops, like if they wind up being good, they're gone. Somebody's going to grab them. Well, now they have some money. And I'll take Dave Clawson with some money over most other coaches with a lot more money. And the other person who I think is going to really benefit from this is Dabo Sweeney. It's not that he's anti-transfer. It's that the players they get out of high school are pretty darn good. And to get players that are maybe better than the ones they already have in the transfer portal is really expensive. And Clemson has a supportive fan base, but it's a fairly small fan base. And so they can't raise the NIL money that, say, Ohio State or Georgia can. So it made it really hard for them to be shoppers in the portal. I think that changes this year. I don't think they're going to completely revamp their roster through the portal, but I do think they will be active and take some players that maybe they wouldn't have taken before because now they can afford them.
Andy Staples, On 3 Sports, covering college football. You hear from fans all over the country, and there's this idea, and it certainly feels like it's true to some extent, that we have parity, but yet we're still seeing, the big-time college football programs, navigate it and stay at the top. So do we really have parity when we net out on this?
Indiana's in the college football playoff. So, yeah, I'd say it's a lot more.
Yeah.
It's a lot more.
How many more examples will we see like that?
There's never going to be complete parity. Some teams, like somebody has to be bad if somebody's going to be good. So, but Tennessee's back in the playoff. Like, Tennessee was not good for a long time, and now they're good again. Oregon's now one of the best teams in the country. They have been good, but they have not been nationally elite. Before, it was Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State, and sometimes Clemson. There's a lot more teams that can compete now. So I would say that it is moving in that direction. I don't know. It's never going to be completely equal. It's not the NFL. If you want it to be that, you have to have a draft. It's not going to work that way. But it's a lot more fair now than it was before, because before Alabama's backups were better than all but about 3 teams in the country.
I don't know who this really matters to, but I'm going to ask the question just because I think it's a bit of a discussion. I mean, we're all focused on the playoff, and I want to get your thoughts on that in a second. But how does the portal and the playoff impact the significance of bowl games? And there's like 3 questions in here, but where do you think we're headed with bowl games, you know?
Well, I mean, they're going to be what they've been the last few years. Like, if you had a really good season and you're excited about the game you're playing in, then most of the players are going to play, and it'll be great. If you had a disappointing season and maybe you fired your coach, then all the players are going to opt out. I mean, it's not that complicated. And now what the bowl games can do going forward is they can do NIL deals with the players, and suddenly everybody's going to want to play. It's amazing if you give somebody money to do something, they tend to do it.
Yeah. And I think, some places can do that and some places can't, depending on state law, but that's kind of in the weeds. And it also kind of speaks to what coaches are dealing with now. I mean, it feels like you got to have a front office if you're going to play major college football.
Right, I mean, if you don't have a front office, you're stupid. Like, you're already far behind. Like, you should have the best programs that were setting this up like an NFL front office 4 or 5 years ago. Like, if they're just now doing it, they're really behind, because you need to have basically what an NFL front office has is they have a scouting program. Those are the ones that watch the college players and then recommend who to draft. But then they have what's called a pro player personnel department, and they're scouting the rest of the league to see who you want to sign in free agency, to see who you might want to trade for. Same thing in college now. Like, you need to be scouting the rest of college football so that when the transfer portal opens, you know exactly what, like, somebody pops in, you know all about them, you know who to call, you know, like, is it mom that I need to call? Is it dad that I need to call? Is it the high school coach I need to call? Like, you need to know all of that stuff quickly, and because you need to have done your homework on that. So it has changed that, and what you're seeing now is basically more general manager type positions where that person used to be like the director of high school recruiting. That's not that's still a person, but that person isn't nearly as powerful. The person who is powerful is that general manager. Now, what I'm curious about, though, and I don't think this has happened yet, but I think we're going to get to it. In the NFL, you have situations where the general manager is more powerful than the coach, or the coach and the general manager are kind of competing for the owner's ear and loyalty. And we haven't seen that yet in college football. The coaches are still basically in charge of personnel. I do think there will be a point where at some schools the GM will wind up in a power struggle with the coach, and then we'll get a really interesting situation at that point.
Yeah, all of that, watching it develop, is going to be really intriguing. All right, I could go a lot of different places with the playoff, like who's got the best route, who do you think is going to win? But I want to leave it open to you. What was your takeaway after the playoff rankings came out? The bracket was set. I mean, what would be Andy Staples' takeaway on how we landed?
Well, we've told you all season that the seeding was going to suck, and you were going to be mad when it came out. And that's exactly what happened. Like, Oregon got punished for winning the Big Ten title game because Penn State loses the Big Ten title game, and their path to the semifinals is you have to beat SMU and you have to beat Boise State. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to beat both of those teams, but it means they've got probably the easiest path of anyone. Meanwhile, to get to the semifinals, if you're Oregon, you only have to win one game, but that game's against the winner of Tennessee-Ohio State. Like, the team that played the best season and did the best is supposed to get the easiest path. So they need to figure out how to just seed them straight. And I understand why they did the misseeding. I understand why they guaranteed the top 4 seeds to conference champions, because everybody whined forever during the 14 playoff, well, you got conference championships need to matter. But as Greg Sankey said yesterday, not all conferences are created equal. It's probably time to revisit that and just seed them straight. Like, it's fine if you want to guarantee conference champions a place at the table. Like, I think that is perfectly fair and perfectly just, but just seed it straight. So if you're the number 3 team, you're the number 3 seed. If you want to bring up a conference champion who isn't in the top 12, fine. Make them number 12.
Andy, always great. Enjoy your work. Thanks for making time for us, man. Much appreciated.
My pleasure, Bo. Thank you.
Great insight right there. Andy Staples, always bringing it on 3 Sports. You can check him out, his podcast on YouTube, on3sports.com. Just straight to the points, straight to the facts, a little bit of opinion. I always enjoy it. Andy Staples with us here on the Chuck and Bo Show. Back in a minute.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, well, congratulations, Coach.
I made some good calls today.
You sure did. You sure did.
Did you know the CDC reports as many as 3 out of 4 Americans suffer from sleep disorders? The more severe condition is called obstructive sleep apnea, and if left untreated, can increase the risk of death by 17%. It can also lead to conditions like obesity, high blood pressure, heart condition, and stroke. If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options, and thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies provided by one of our own Arkansas surgeons, Dr. Scotty Bolding, there are alternative treatments that may eliminate the need to wear CPAP every night. Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better. Call Dr. Bolding's office today at 479-755-3000 for a consultation and tell him you heard it on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Having great vision enhances every part of life. That's why I go to McDonald Eye Associates. Whether it's a pair of readers or LASIK surgery, you know you're in good hands. You've heard former quarterback and now coach Ty Story talk about his great LASIK results with McDonald Eye. The surgeons there have done more LASIK procedures than anybody in the state of Arkansas and have helped numerous athletes get better results through improved vision. When it comes to vision, nobody sees it like McDonald Eye.
'Tis the holiday season, a special delight, with gifts all around and spirits so bright. Watch closely now, for there's one more surprise, a gift that brings comfort with joy in our eyes. The family rejoices, their excitement takes flight. With a new Pascal heat and air system, they're snug every night. Give your family the gift of true comfort with over $5,100 in savings. Plus, receive a whole home duct cleaning on qualifying systems. Special financing available with no payments and no interest. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Save up to $15,000 off. The Red Tag savings are back at Chevrolet of Fayetteville. Your choice. Save up to $15,000 off new Silverados or up to $15,000 off new Blazer EVs. That's how we do Red Tag savings at Chevrolet of Fayetteville in the Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show. Together, let's drive. ChevroletofFayetteville.com. Savings include dealer discounts and all incentives on select models. Must qualify. See dealer for details. Expires 12/2/24.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
And Hog Noxious, our listeners just don't let us down. He said, Chuck, explain it to them. Smash or trash by saying swipe right or left.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
Looking for a healthcare provider that truly listens to you? At Elite Wellness and Aesthetics, their team of nurse practitioners offer personalized healthcare with their in-house labs. Get fast results. Elite Wellness goes beyond just treating symptoms. Their holistic approach addresses the root causes of your well-being. Whether it's preventative care, illness, or exploring natural treatments, your health journey begins with Elite Wellness and Aesthetics. Call 479-242-9355 for your appointment or visit FortSmithElite.com. Elite Wellness and Aesthetics, getting to know you inside and out.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Robert, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
The largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
I should say it?
Say what?
Mom, I think he wants to say that it's Christmas time.
Okay, you can say it.
It's Christmas, everyone, and guess what, guys?
What?
Santa shop's here at the Stadium Shop.
Oh, Lord, Mom, here comes that dad side.
Nope, I saw him. Matt, you still do believe in Santa, right?
Sure. Believers do get more presents.
Okay, so what did he get?
Let me guess, a couch for the elves, collars for the reindeer, maybe even a hoodie for Frosty. You know how cold he gets being made of snow and all.
And let me guess, some Razorback jewelry for Mrs. Claus?
Well, yeah, Matt, you better get that Google machine all warmed up. He said he was going to be ordering some more stuff.
Google machine?
Yeah, you know, the Interfacegram WW.
I think he's talking about our website, which you should know by now, Dad. It's shoponrazorback.com.
Or have Santa give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
So come by 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville, and you just might catch Santa Hog.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us. Ho, ho, hogs.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
A lot of times critics don't know what the hell they're talking about, and I don't think they know much what they're talking about on this one either.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hall of Famer Clay Henry is going to join us next hour, and we'll get back to the phones. We got a short segment here. Arkansas beat Michigan last night in a thriller. What a great college basketball game. How much fun that was to watch. Then Cal got the spoils of being on SVP afterwards. And just a great moment for Arkansas basketball. It just feels great to win. It feels great to see a talented team like you've heard about and you've been wanting to see kind of come to life. And Arkansas has actually put together some pretty good shooting numbers the last 3 games. You know, from the field, from the three-point line. For a while there, you're wondering if they could make a three. And they turned it up in the second half, and it was good for Hog fans, no doubt. The transfer portal's ongoing. I would caution you that you got to let it all play out. How do they do? So one way to look at it is they have an opportunity to better themselves. Will they actually get that done? Chuck's on his way back from New York after calling the game last night. We got some calls we'll get to coming up as well when Clay joins us. We're brought to you in part by First Security Bank, Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric, the Fayetteville Auto Park, Flight by Yingling, Weichert Realtors the Griffin Company, and Blakeman's Fine Jewelry.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Best brands, best people, best inventory, best place. You want selection? You'll find it at the Auto Park. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. We're talking 4 of the best brands on the planet. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Plus, certified pre-owned Toyotas, Hondas, Acuras, and Chevys. Why settle for anything less than the best? Best brands, best people, best inventory, best place. Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show. Check us out online at FayettevilleAutoPark.com. That's FayettevilleAutoPark.com.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweatnum Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to SweatnumCosmetic.com and click on the Sweatnum Edge.
Here's a saying for you. We live in a...
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app
is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my Double R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. It'll be quite breezy today with northwesterly winds 15 to 30 miles per hour. Mainly clear. A cold one tonight, overnight low in the upper 20s. Back to sunshine, a high in the low to mid 50s on Thursday and Friday. Chance of showers back in the 50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Are you looking for a Christmas gift idea for the avid angler in your life? Swing by Make Awake Bait and Tackle and let them set you up with a new Daiwa rod or reel. Make Awake has all the stocking stuffers for the angler in your life, like Strike King, Pinger Minnow, Spro Rock Crawler, the Yum Flash Mob Jr., and more. If you're not sure, let the guys at Make Awake Bait and Tackle on 803 North 11th Street next to Wicks Marine in Fort Smith set you up with a gift card. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, here to help you with your favorite angler's bait and tackle. Be sure and check out our Facebook, and Merry Christmas.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-door or check them out online at precisiondoornwa.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. You're listening to ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown, Arkansas! How did he get that wide open?
Are you Christmas shopping for the hunter, the fisherman, the working man, the marksman, the archer? Then get down to Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith. Check out all the toys for all the boys, no matter what their age. Jelco Outdoors is your locally owned store for work and the great outdoors. Jelco gift cards are always a perfect fit. This Christmas, shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith. Merry Christmas from Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
It's Ty Richardson live at Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental. I'm here with my friend Gail Rainwater. One of the many things you guys offer is tuxedo rental.
Yes, we do a great business of renting for weddings and proms. What sets us apart from most other places that rent clothing, you get to try it on. You come in, we measure, you try it on immediately. And the reason for that is we carry everything in stock. You get to check the fit immediately. Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, where it's fun to look good.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother Equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Ty Richardson here at Wheeler Powersports as we gear up for Christmas. Simon, you're the guy to come see.
We have new inventory in stock such as the Kawasaki Mule 4010, Kawasaki KX 450 SR, KO S70, Polaris Ranger Crew XP 1000 North Star and Camo, and the Polaris Sportsman 570 Hunting Edition. Give us a call or text us at 479-783-5822.
901 North 11th Street in downtown Fort Smith, Wheeler Powersports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
If you try to plant your flag on somebody else's logo in the middle of their field, expect a fight. And if your team's the home team and they've just gotten beat, and somebody tries to plant a flag in your logo, if they don't go out there and fight, well, then you don't have a team.
It's similar to the situation where somebody disrespects your wife or girlfriend. What do you do?
Nobody talks to her that way but me.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a called play, and I called it, Chuck.
Back to to save sports radio.
I'm ready to roll right now,
Can you believe we're doing this?
This brings back.
Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two bald white guys with a face for radio.
Here is Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Big win for the Hogs last night. John Calipari in the locker room afterwards.
So I got to tell you this, because it's on my heart. You fought. You fought your butt off. That is a terrific offensive team. Proud of you. I'm telling you, we almost gave it away, but guess what? We did. All right, so hey, enjoy. Isn't winning a whole lot better than losing?
89-87 over number 14 Michigan. Boogie Flan had 20. Big game for DJ Wagner and Trevin Brazil. Really a team win and a great effort by the Razorbacks. And as Chuck said before he got on the plane this morning, boy, it feels good to win. Without Chuck, we bring in Clay Henry, another Hall of Famer, friend of the program. And Clay, it sure does feel good to win, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a fun game to watch. I had a hard time going to sleep afterwards because it just so hopped up. I bet everybody else around Arkansas was the same way. I mean, you watched the last 40 minutes of that game, and you got excited for Arkansas basketball. I mean, you saw high-level players making high-level plays. It was terrific theater. You saw how good the other team was in the first 10 minutes. How well they could shoot if you left them open, and fortunately Arkansas, they played that modern basketball defensively to end the game. In other words, we're not letting them shoot threes. They won't drive it on us. We'll see if we can block their shot. Sometimes we will, sometimes we won't. I sound like Calipari a little bit there, don't I?
I mean, you know the language.
Yeah. But it's 1 out of 6 in the second half. That's what Michigan was on threes. And that wasn't because they didn't want to shoot threes. It's because Arkansas defended the line, and that's important.
They played hard, and it was nice to get the win, as we talked about, especially after the last couple of days of the news that people are reacting to coming out of the transfer portal. And we're going to talk about that a little, and we'll take your calls, 877-377-6963. But a lot of, I would say at the moment, there's a lot of overreacting, and I would only say that because the thing hasn't played out yet. But let me take Nelson's call real quick, Clay. Nelson and Harrison, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Clay's here. What's happening?
Good morning, guys. It's great to get a win on that stage. It's great to see these kids get out there and fight. That's one thing that the Razorbacks always have, is we got fight in us. Even our football team had fight. This basketball team's got fight. And it was great to see Trevin Brazil get out there, and his energy was infectious. We were floundering around, and when he got out there and made plays, we started getting back in there. That was just a great thing to see for that young man, because he's been through a lot at this university.
Yeah.
Now, guys, all of this stuff with this guy's leaving, can we replace him? How are we going to replace this guy? We've had this last year. Okay. KJ leaves. Taylor Green was 4th in the SEC this year as a quarterback. Jaquindon Jackson was 6th in the SEC as a running back. 790 yards, 15 touchdowns. Guess what Rocket Sanders did? On 183 carries, he had 881 yards and 11 touchdowns. How are we going to replace these guys if they're leaving us? Guys, Andrew Armstrong, 78 catches, 1,140 yards. Well, he didn't have the touchdown. But guess who had the most touchdowns in the league? Lacey at LSU. 9 touchdowns is the most any receiver had in the league. And he had 866 yards catching. Now let's go to the defense, Bo. Here. Xavier Story, number 7 in total defense. Number 8, Chris Paul in total defense. Guess what? 19, Danico Smothers. 31, Stephen Dix Jr. 45, T.J. Metcalf. Guess how many more Ole Miss guys are on there? Daughtry at 16 and Parkins at 41. We've got the talent, and these people want to die Sam Pittman say, oh, he can't get talent, he can't coach. We've got the talent. You can't fumble the ball over and over and over and over and win. We've got the talent. We've got the coaches. All we got to do is put it together. Now, I just want to know what you guys think about that.
Well, okay. Thanks, Nelson. Clay, the floor is all yours.
Interesting numbers. The eye test is that they competed in the offensive and defensive line better than the year before. They didn't get the defensive turnovers. That's the one thing, Nelson, you left out, is we scored on defense last year, didn't this year. So that's one of the things, so that the turnover differential is not glaring. You can have some turnovers. You don't need to have that many, but you got to get some back. And, in the games that they lost, those 6 games they lost, it was like 60-1 or something. I can't remember what the number is, but it's you have to have, got to return fire. You got to have some takeaways. And they scored on defense last year. They did not this year. So that's the thing that they've got to fix. And how do you do that? Get better cornerback play. And, you force things with your rush a little bit, make that quarterback uncomfortable. And I thought they did that against Texas, and that's one of the reasons why they held Texas to 20 points. Let's talk about the portal, though, Bo.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think that's kind of where you wanted to
Yeah,
head
I want to hear
anyway,
what you
right?
think. Yeah, I want to get your – I've talked about it plenty.
What I see is that there are good players out there. There's good players at all levels. And I think, I got a call yesterday, and it's like, well, we're going after players that are non-Power 5. Well, so does the NFL. If you watch the NFL, there's guys scattered through the rosters that they weren't from, Alabama, LSU, Southern Cal, Ohio State, Michigan. Every roster has got some of those guys. So you have to scout both areas. And the portals is got a ton of players in it, and you just have to go through and see what's useful to you. And I think they'll do that. I think I thought Travis Williams was really good at evaluating what he wanted, went out and got it. Was a good recruiter. I think Bobby is really good at evaluating tape in quick fashion, and I know that's what he's doing right now, has been doing, all week. It's just Wednesday. I'm not going to get excited or down or anything until I see where we're at in the middle of January. And a lot's going to change between now and then. And there may be some more guys that left, but I had a guy, call me that's, was just livid about Braylon Russell. I was like, he's gone? Well, yeah, this is a report. And 2 hours later, someone tells me he's not gone. So you can't react on every tweet, and I would hate to be a recruiting writer right now. You can't call these guys. They don't talk on the phone. There's, the messages that get out are unusually vague, and they're coming from all sources. They might be coming from an uncle. They might be coming from a dad. Might be coming from a mom. It's unlikely that anybody's talking to the players because they just don't answer the phone anymore. I covered recruiting back in the 80s, and it was really simple. But things change hour to hour. And if you do get somebody on the phone, they're likely to find out, okay, well, what school are you covering? And they tell you what you want to know. It may not be true. Or it might change. My dad said recruiting coverage, and that's what we're in. The portal is recruiting. We'll make liars out of all of us. And can't be helped. So, I feel sorry for these guys that are trying to, guys like Otis and Dudley and Danny West. You know, if they're trying to cover this, and it's impossible. So I'm going to watch the Army-Navy game and enjoy these guys. You know, none of those guys are going in the portal. None of them have NIL. They're going to go to work for our country and be on a ship or in a tank or in a Black Hawk.
There we go. Are you doing the Open for the broadcast? I mean, you're on top of it. I like it. You should narrate
I love
the
that
Open
game, Bo.
Well, we got Kevin from Mansfield. I think he wants to talk about it. He just called in. Kevin, you're on with Clay Henry.
Hey, Clay, I just going through my mind. Does Army and Navy guy go to the transfer tunnel, or do they allow their kids to go through? And if not,
no, they can't redshirt. They can't redshirt. If they leave, they've got to pay back their scholarship. Now, what about that?
So much.
That's a novel concept.
That's my question. I'm just wondering how schools can, do the same.
Well, they can't. You know, the courts would. There's a million lawyers that would have fun with that. They can't do it, but our academies can. You sign something that you're not going to waste our country's money, and it's. But yeah, and you can't redshirt. None of them are redshirt. So the Heisman's not announced yet, and I can't reveal my vote until it does announce.
Come on, give us a hint.
I am going to tell you part of it because it's not a guy that's going to win.
He
didn't get invited.
Oh.
Bryson Daly, the Army quarterback, scored 29 touchdowns. I think D-Mac's best year he scored 15. Ashton Genty scored 29. But, I watched the Army Tulane. I actually watched it twice. I watched it live on Friday night, and then it was on again Sunday, or Monday, and I watched it again.
It's hardcore.
But it's just fun to watch those guys play. And they play like brothers, and they play it the right way. Monken's a good coach, and who knows, Navy may get them. That game is always unusual. But I have some friends, and you've met some of them. You've been with me with some of these guys, West Point grads, Army Rangers. I've written stories about sprint football. We had a guy from Rogers that was captain of the Army sprint football, which I think that means you got to be under 185. There's a game for you right there, Ty. I mean, Bo, Ty and Bo. Yeah. No. How much does Ty weigh now? Is he 200?
I have no idea. The hair is a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I enjoy watching those guys play, and I don't watch them all the time because they're not on very much. But so everybody just watch that game and kind of chill a little bit. Let this portal stuff play out. Let Bobby and Travis do their due diligence.
Nobody wants to chill. Everybody wants to gripe. It's like Andy Staples said, college football.
That's what I'm doing.
Never had more eyeballs than it does right now, and we're all sitting around talking about how awful it is. And nobody.
So you know what
it's
I did
more exciting than ever.
When everybody's fretting about the portal Monday afternoon, I went fishing.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna. I want to dive in on that a second, and if you got something for Clay, we've covered Army Navy, so we'll move on from that. But if you got anything else, 877-377-6963.
Bryson Daly, he should be in New York. Yeah.
We're back in a minute on the Chuck and Bo Show. It's 8:16. Good morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but they ain't but one race.
I would like to go to that game one time.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Save
Save up to $15,000 off. The red tag savings are back at Chevrolet of Fayetteville. Your choice. Save up to $15,000 off new Silverados or up to $15,000 off new Blazer EVs. That's how we do red tag savings at Chevrolet of Fayetteville in the Fayetteville Auto Park. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show. Together, let's drive. ChevroletofFayetteville.com. Savings include dealer discounts and all incentives on select models. Must qualify. See dealer for details. Expires 12/2/24.
Is your hot water heater letting you down? No one likes cold showers. We want to be able to count on our hot water. That's why Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric has an offer that comes with the peace of mind I value. Get this, for just $17.76, you can get a 40 to 50 gallon water heater fully supplied and installed by their licensed and insured technicians backed by a comprehensive warranty. For less than $2,000? Yeah, price check it. It's a deal. Just log on to gopascal.com and don't worry about hot water anymore.
You say, well, that's a tough thing to say when we live in a tough world.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Remember the classic Massey Ferguson tractors, straightforward, dependable, tough as nails, and easy to run? It's those classic models that inspired the Massey Ferguson 2600H series, as durable and reliable as the classics, with up to 74 horsepower and more comfort so you can work harder. The Massey Ferguson 2600H series. It's everything you want and need in a tractor. See one at Bush Machine and Tractor Company or visit bushtractor.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
What makes Crabtree RV Center different? First, we are a fourth-generation family-owned business, taking pride in making your family's dreams come true. No corporate mentality here. Second, we've been in business for 74 years, founded in 1950 here in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas area. We are not going anywhere. What does that mean for our customers? A family feel with no corporate hidden fees. The reassurance that we will be here for generations to come, and knowledgeable salespeople who want to pick the right RV for your family to make lifetime memories in. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson. We're live at Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, 9700 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
If you don't wear tailored clothing, dressing up a lot, you don't want to spend a lot of money on it, the rental is the way to go because you get in a lot less expensive. Your party all matches and you look really coordinated with the ladies in your event. You get to try it on so everybody knows that it fits. There's no worries the weekend of the wedding. Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental because it's fun to look good.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
So if I get offended right there, do you get offended at me for being offended?
No, I don't get offended at you for being offended, but I do think there's an issue with you.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You know, if you're low on hormones, you know, it can make you irritable. So get the Sweatinum Edge. Get the evaluation. Go to sweatinumcosmetic.com. Get leveled out. Get your levels right. They give you the game plan. It's a free consultation. You can decide if you want to do anything about it. But if you're tired, you got low energy, you know, maybe it's hair loss or stubborn weight. Maybe it's just skin health. They can help you look and feel better, and it's really up to you. But you get a free look at who you are, what's going on in your body, and how you can be helped. And then you make the game plan from there. They'll consult you through the process, and there's nobody that I would trust more to do it. Dr. Jeff Sweatinum, sweatinumcosmetic.com. It's the Sweatinum Edge. Click on that. Chuck and I have both done it. We're better off for it. Clay Henry's the longtime publisher of Hogs Illustrated. He is a Hall of Famer. He is still writing columns. He's still delivering takes. People don't always see things like Clay does. He just kind of sees things in a different way, and I'm always glad to have him on the Chuck and Bo Show. And today we're doing it without Chuck because he's on the way back. We had him in the first hour. We celebrated the Arkansas win. It felt so good to just talk about something positive happening and great because that's really what fans want. And, Clay, here we are. Fans are just frustrated. They're upset. They're freaking out. And I feel like there's a bias among some. They don't like the head coach, so anything that happens is automatically a referendum on the head coach. I'm not really here to talk about whether Sam Pittman should be the coach or not. I'm here to talk about, like, what's going on, what's below the surface, what's beyond the headline. I don't feel like that's happening enough in our state. But it gets painted into a corner as if that's defending and it's carrying the water for the athletic department. The bottom line on this transfer portal situation is we don't know the end of the story yet. So why is it that people are so reactionary to every player that goes in the portal? Is it we don't understand this is the way college football is now? Or is it because it's another thing they can point to as surely the head coach has fallen asleep at the wheel. He has no idea what he's doing. He's listening to Pandora and taking pain pills, and he's completely lost. What is it?
I think that you could probably say it's a little bit of all that, Bo. And I don't think you can put your finger right on one, but I think we're not very patient. We're interested. I have argued with a couple of people that are kind of in my network that they had said that they've given up. And I said, I don't think you have, because I'm listening to you and you're keeping up with all this stuff, and you know who's coming and who's going, and, it makes you mad, it makes you sad, it makes you, pissed off, and, and you're coming at me like, I've done some of this. Have you had that, Bo?
Oh, yeah.
Have you felt those kind of things?
Oh, and stay off Twitter. It's a cesspool.
Well, I'm not on Twitter.
I'm telling you, stay off of it.
This would be personal phone calls, and this would be maybe texting. I do some of that.
I've gotten some of that.
But I had one guy say, "We're for sure going to lose to Arkansas State." I said, "You've already jumped to that.
You don't even know who the roster is."
Yeah, and we don't even know what their roster is either. And I'm we may take some of their players. It was interesting. You and I sat and watched Louisiana Tech, and I said, you know what this is today? This is a tryout for Arkansas's roster. If they see somebody they like, they're going to take them. From Louisiana Tech.
You did.
Huh?
You did. I remember.
Yeah, and that's playing out. I think there's a defensive tackle Arkansas's interested.
Yeah,
there others are interested in him too.
Yeah. And that's just, so you mentioned earlier that people are complaining like some of these that Arkansas have offered are not Power 5 schools, but just take the old recruiting test. Who else is offering them? And you'll see there's a bunch of other SEC schools offering these guys too. Look, there's only so many guys in the portal. And to me, one of the interesting things is we have portal rankings now. Now, how accurate they are, I don't know. But that's more of, I would think, an accurate test or ranking than a high school kid who's jumping to college, because that's a bigger jump than having played college ball already to going to another school.
Well, you first of all, you've got tape of him playing in college. There's every single player that they're taking. So you're watching a player play against other college players. Every one of these guys in the portal. So you have a good way to evaluate. And I think Bobby and Travis and these other coaches, they're pretty good at evaluating stuff on tape. That's what they do their whole life. And they much prefer that than seeing, a guy from Parkview beat up on a guy, at Little Rock Central. The talent, disparity is just so wide. And he's like, how can you tell? Especially with linemen. That is the hardest thing, offensive linemen, because normally a high school offensive lineman is going to whip a substandard defensive lineman in high school. There's a huge, there's just not very many good defensive linemen, so they're going to look good. Almost all offensive linemen of size, they're, a 340-pound guy, and there's some of them that are too fat that they are 340. They're going to whip up on a 190-pound defensive lineman. I mean, they're just going to do it. So how do you judge that? Then you get them to school, and they don't have the foot speed, and they don't have the strength, and they're getting whipped. I mean, they try to play against Landon Jackson, and it's a mismatch. So it's that goes on. But it is. But we just have to be patient and let it play out. And, I'll go back to, this was in the late 80s. One of my assignments was to cover the NFL draft, how it played out with Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Tulsa, and Arkansas, those 4 schools. And in Tulsa, there was an outfit called United Scouting, and they scouted for all, I think it was 28 NFL teams at that time. There's been some expansion teams since then. Some teams didn't exist then. But there were a few NFL teams that had their own scouting system. Dallas Cowboys was one of them. Tom Landry had a scouting system, but not all teams did. And they just pooled their resources and paid United Scouting. And one of those guys was a former Tulsa coach that I had covered, and he retired and became a scout. Well, he brought me in there, and they scouted every NAIA school. They scouted every Division II school, and there would be tons and tons of players from those schools. Maybe not every one of them had an NFL, but they're going to be drafted. It was more rounds, and it's the same thing. And there, you watch on Monday Night Football, and the players get to introduce themselves and say where they're from, and it'll be, from Indiana College, Pennsylvania, like a little obscure school. So they're out there, and they're, that's what's going on right now. And so when your school gets one of those guys, don't go, woe is me. Wait till you see him. You might really like him. He might be an SEC player that developed at one of these smaller schools.
All right, Clay, before I let you go, I know you got to run, but real quick, just can you sum up the state?
I'm not going to do any running. Don't worry.
Probably a walk down.
That, right?
Down the driveway.
I got a breakfast, yeah.
But how would you sum up the state of Arkansas football? And that's a big question. And I don't mean to make it a 5-minute answer, because I know you could, and you'd cover a lot of ground. That's important. It's not just about the portal. How would you just sum up where Arkansas is as a football program, if you can?
Yeah, here's what I'll say. We still have a chance. And you still have a chance to build a competitive team. And if you got playmakers and you fight hard in offensive, defensive line and clean up some things. So that's the mission, is to clean up some things and play Arkansas football, eliminate the turnover. So, I think that can happen. And I think that you just had a year where so much was new on offense. We talked about this at the start of the year. And I'll go back to Bobby's first year. It was 5-7, and they made so many mistakes trying to do what he wanted to do. I feel good that Bobby's going to be back for a second year. That was the only thing that kind of got me this week, was could he leave, and that they have to start over. But I think the continuity on offense, that they've got a chance, and they will continue to fight. I think they played hard. You said something earlier. The team really played hard last night.
Yeah,
that's the essence of coaching.
Mm-hmm.
If you play hard, and I watched Nolan's teams. They didn't always play well, but they always played hard. And if they're not playing hard, that goes back to coaching. And I thought the football team, they competed this year, and that's what I want to see. That's what I'll judge. Going forward next year, did they find players that play hard, and did they compete for themselves, their family, and lastly, their team? Because that's what's going on now. You're fighting for your family, for yourself, because they don't know the team. They don't know the fans. Did they get guys right in this next 3 weeks that play hard, and do they coach them up? But I still think Arkansas has a chance, Bo.
It's Clay Henry, Hall of Famer, friend of the Chuck and Bo Show. Oh, have a great day, Clay. Have a great breakfast. We'll talk soon, man. Thank you.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
You too. Always do. Hey, we're brought to you in part by Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorback. Looking for that special holiday gift? Blakeman's in Rogers, the place to go, helping you celebrate every moment in life. It's where your journey ends and your story begins. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's 8:31, Chuck and Bo Show. Back in a minute.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I think that having Brian, allowing him to call in occasionally, is a healthy reminder of why you don't like Texas. Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweat No Edge is all about. It's where health Confidence and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to sweatnumcosmetic.com and click on the Sweatnum Edge. Having great vision enhances every part of life. That's why I go to McDonald Eye Associates. Whether it's a pair of readers or LASIK surgery, you know you're in good hands. You've heard former quarterback and now coach Ty Story talk about his great LASIK results with McDonald Eye. The surgeons there have done more LASIK procedures than anybody in the state of Arkansas and have helped numerous athletes get better results through improved vision. When it comes to vision, nobody sees it like McDonald Eye.
I like craft beer. I do. You guys always think I'm like the biggest dork on the face of the earth.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Hey, Todd Richardson here at First Financial Mortgage. My mortgage lender, Ethan Adamson. Ethan, congratulations. Over 300 five-star reviews.
Yeah, Todd, we pride ourselves on delivering a five-star service during the entire mortgage process.
What sets you apart from everyone else?
I think communication, how quickly we work, we get you closed on time or early. Call 479-782-9300. Weekdays 8 to 5, ffb1.com. First Financial Mortgage, in the business of you, equal housing lender.
Looking for a healthcare provider that truly listens to you? At Elite Wellness and Aesthetics, their team of nurse practitioners offer personalized healthcare with their in-house labs. Get fast results. Elite Wellness goes beyond just treating symptoms. Their holistic approach addresses the root causes of your well-being. Whether it's preventative care, illness, or exploring natural treatments, your health journey begins with Elite Wellness and Aesthetics. Call 479-242-9355 for your appointment or visit FortSmithElite.com. Elite Wellness and Aesthetics, getting to know you inside and out.
It's Ty Richardson with owner and operator Cecil Gardner with Jazzco Graphics, 16 years in the industry. Cecil, this is the one-stop shop.
Yes, Jazzco Graphics Design, the one-stop shop, 2415 Midland, for your custom or buck order.
Why ESPN 95.3?
I really enjoy listening in, and it keeps my day going while I'm at work. Jazzco Graphics Design, 2415 Midland. It's on the corner of Midland and Kelly. Jazzco Graphics, the one-stop shop.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Robert, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville. The largest Razorback store south of the North Pole. I should say it?
Say what?
Mom, I think he wants to say that it's Christmas time.
Okay, you can say it.
It's Christmas, everyone, and guess what, guys?
What?
Santa shop's here at the Stadium Shop. Oh, Lord, Mom, here comes that dad side. Nope, I saw him. Matt, you still do believe in Santa, right? Sure. Believers do get more presents.
Okay, so what did he get?
Let me guess. A couch for the elves, collars for the reindeer, maybe even a hoodie for Frosty. You know how cold he gets being made of snow and all.
And let me guess, some Razorback jewelry for Mrs. Claus?
Well, yeah, Matt, you better get that Google machine all warmed up. He said he was going to be ordering some more stuff.
Google machine?
Yeah, you know, the Interfacegram www. I think he's talking about our website, which you should know by now, Dad. It's shoponrazorback.com.
Or have Santa give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
So come by 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville, and you just might catch Santa Hog. Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Ho, ho, hogs. Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroom, a patio cover, a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jam Mart. Brad Tyson and their entire team are so thankful this time of year during the holidays. We appreciate all of our customers that enjoy the Beverage Bar at Boonville, the hot food at Phoenix, and the deli at Jam Mart number 10. We know you're loving the updated pumps at our gas stations, and we're continuing to strive to find new creative ways to improve every single day. If you love Jam Mart, please leave us a 5-star review on Google. Happy holidays from your friends at Jam Mart.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
So if I get offended right there, do you get offended at me for being offended?
No, I don't get offended at you for being offended, but I do think there's an issue with you.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, let's get to the phones. Chuck's on the way back from New York, 8:37. Good morning. Paul, you're on from Marble Falls. What's happening?
Hey, Bo, thanks for taking my call. I wanted to just weigh in on the portal situation, and sorry if you wanted to switch topics after the break, but one thing that we don't talk about is some of these kids in the portal may be prescribed. You know, Pittman said after the Missouri game, he and the coaches were going to have some frank and honest conversations with the players, and I noticed a lot of the portal kids are sophomores. They're 2s and 3s on the depth chart, and they, you know, I'm willing to give Pittman, we took a step forward, I'm willing to give Pittman the benefit of the doubt that some of these kids maybe just didn't participate in the weight room like they needed to, didn't have the drive they needed to, and that frank conversation might have been, hey, you need to move on somewhere else. So we don't talk about that, and I know the coaches would never go public and you know, provide that kind of information of these people, we're glad they're gone, but we don't talk about that. But I think that's a reality in this whole portal situation.
Well, it is. Yeah, and thanks for weighing in. There's no question, and it happened before the portal. It's been happening since we've had scholarships in football. People get cut. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened here, so please understand that first of all, I don't think there needs to be any excuses made. This is part of the process. Some people want more money. You can only go so high because you got a budget. Even knowing you have money coming in, what can you afford to spend at a certain position? We're not privy to all of that information in the budget they have and all those things. But there's a whole system there that I think Arkansas needs to evaluate. I think they don't have some things they need to have. And all of that needs to happen, okay? But today, where you are, whether you like it or not, Sam Pittman's the football coach, okay? So that we can, if you want to gripe about it and just yell at the wall and, you know, stare into the, you know, corner and just scream, go ahead. But it's not changing anything. What is happening right now is what I just think is the most interesting thing to talk about, because all the other stuff's just talk, like it doesn't have any impact. There's no significance to it. If you want to just talk about how dumb Hunter Yurachek is and how dumb Pittman is and how they all suck and whatever, have at it. But on this show, we're going to try to give you like some insight as to what could happen and how things are developing and what the rest of the story to play out is, which we don't know the answer to that yet until the portal's over and the players that you get in. And so we've tried to give us to like take a step back. And I'm sorry if that makes you mad. Like, actually, I'm not sorry. Like, grow up. Like, have adult conversations. It's really enlightening. We don't always like that. Sometimes we're emotional. But generally, when we're really emotional and we take a step back, then we have some clarity. We have a little bit more of a clear head. And simply put, we have no idea. Just like going into this season, we didn't know how the roster was going to perform because there was so much newness. And we said they went out and made moves in the offseason to make things better. They got better. Had fumble issues, cost them games. But that was a way better football team. Even at 6-6, I would say it was a way better product in terms of chances to win, the way they were more dynamic on offense. A lot of fumbles killed you. Now they're going to do the same thing because this is the world most of college football lives in. And so let's evaluate how we think they made the moves in the offseason. Not just one side, like who left, who's coming in. And then we'll have that to talk about, and then we'll see how that team goes and plays. And then over the course of 25, I think things will change. I think things in the infrastructure will change. I think some coaching might change. But that's where we are today. Let's go to the Big Apple. RT was apparently at the game last night. RT, welcome into the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning. Oh, yeah. Turn the app down or whatever you're listening on there, so you don't get feedback.
Okay, hold on.
Yep, no problem. We're here. We're here for it. Chuck's on
All
the way
right.
back
Can
from
you hear
New
me
York. RT's still there. Yes, sir. Fire away.
Okay, hey Chuck. First of all, I love you guys. I really do. I've been following you for a while now. Of course, you didn't have a show, but you had your own show, and Chuck, of course, has always been the announcer that I remember. But
that's right.
I graduated in 1977 at Arkansas, and I've been living in Brooklyn for 20 years.
Is that right?
And last night I was at the game, and I sat about 10 rows behind Chuck and Matt.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe they were up there where we were sitting, but it was kind of neat to see that. But I was in the middle of a bunch of Michigan fans. But, boy, what a great game. And I thought the Razorback fans were loud, and they had a lot of fun. You could tell they were having a lot of fun. And they really showed out last night, and it was a really good game to see.
I'm glad you got to go. I'm glad you got to see that. And it just felt special. I mean, it felt big time, didn't it? And it felt like big time.
Yeah,
the win in that environment feels euphoric.
Well, I didn't know. I thought we were going to blow them out in the second half, but they just came back, and I thought, oh boy, they're going to get a 3-point shot or something's going to happen. But I was so impressed with Brazil and Wagner, and of course Boogie, and I just thought, man, well, this is the kind of game that Calipari, this is his kind of game. Big stage, tough opponent, and I thought it was great for our program, and of course it was just a lot of fun. To be honest, the Madison Square Garden was rocking.
Yeah, it looked like it on TV. Well, thanks for weighing in. Thanks for listening to the show in Brooklyn.
Okay, thank you.
All right, appreciate the call. Cal said after the game last night,
I would like to play in the Garden every year.
I mean, listen, what you get with John Calipari, he can't help but find giant spotlights. And so your program is going to be in a giant spotlight as long as he's the coach here. And sometimes you're going to be like, wait, is this about Cal or is it about the program or whatever? It's you got a rock star as a basketball coach. And there was so much star power connected to him around that. Justin Timberlake shouting him out at his concert in North Little Rock. And it just continues. Karl Anthony Towns is talking to him as he's walking into the news conference, and this is what Cal does. But when you're in that spotlight, a lot of responsibility comes with it. And I'm talking about winning. And played Baylor, played Illinois, 2 premium games, didn't win the games. And that, for them to be able to find a way to win the game and play it pretty well. I mean, they had, obviously, basketball's a game of runs, and you get hot for a while, then you get cold, and that's just basketball. It happens. Dusty May is a really good coach, in my opinion. That's a really good program he's got there at Michigan. And those two, to beat those 2 6'11", 7-foot guys that have a post presence and play like guards. I mean, I don't know how many putback dunks they had, but it was ridiculous. To go out and figure out a way to win that game, play a complete game to do it. I mean, that was exciting, and it was on a big stage. So it's great to be on a big stage, even better to win on a big stage. And Arkansas was able to achieve that last night. Boogie Flan, 20 points, 7 assists in 37 minutes. DJ Wagner, 16 points, 5 assists, 35 minutes. Trevin Brazil, 15 points, 6 boards, 3 steals, 26 minutes. Huge block at the end of the game. And you haven't even seen the best of some of these guys. But that is the Trevin Brazil you've been, and he's been wanting for you to see for a year or two. And you're starting to see guys develop within the season and within the team now on this roster. And I'm looking forward to, there's going to be so many competitive games. This is a tough league this year. Everybody's talking about it. Scott Van Pelt was talking about it last night. John Rothstein's talking about it. Jay Billis is talking about it. Everybody's noticing, the SEC has gone up. We haven't heard from Edward in 2 weeks. He's leaned up to the microphone.
Hello.
He's here. Missed last week with COVID.
It's terrible.
Did you have something? Or are you just getting close to the mic?
I can have something.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. You pulled the mic around. Like normally it's like you walked up to the front door and you can see through the door. It's like a glass front door, and he lifts his hand up as like he's going to knock. So I'm like, well, he's at the door. You know, or I don't know if you were just like looking in or.
I'm just pulling it close in case something comes to mind.
8:47. Good morning. It's the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Guys, first and foremost, congratulations on the official launch of the Chuck and Bo Show. I want to know, how did you guys decide which name went first, Chuck or Bo? Was that a flip of the coin?
This holiday season, give a gift that sparkles brighter than ever. A diamond from Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, premier destination for diamonds in Northwest Arkansas. At Blakeman's, we don't just help you find the perfect diamond, we guide you through the journey, teaching you everything you need to know to make the most meaningful choice. Whether it's for a proposal under the mistletoe, or a holiday anniversary, or simply a way to say I love you. Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Did you know the CDC reports as many as 3 out of 4 Americans suffer from sleep disorders? The more severe condition is called obstructive sleep apnea, and if left untreated, can increase the risk of death by 17%. It can also lead to conditions like obesity, high blood pressure, heart condition, and stroke. If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options, and thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies provided by one of our own Arkansas surgeons, Dr. Scotty Bolding, there are alternative treatments that may eliminate the need to wear CPAP every night. Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better. Call Dr. Bolding's office today at 479-755-3000 for a consultation and tell them you heard it on the Chuck and Bo Show.
With Oaklawn Sports, the action never stops and the season is never over. It's now easier than ever to wager on your favorite sports all year long. Go from football to basketball to baseball to golf. Bet on what you want, when you want, with the brand you trust. Oaklawn Sports even offers ways to bet on cricket, rugby, table tennis, and more. If it's a sport, chances are you can wager on it. Plus, it's now simpler to deposit and withdraw money from your account. Bet all year long with Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
'Tis the holiday season, a special delight, with gifts all around and spirits so bright. Watch closely now, for there's one more surprise, a gift that brings comfort with joy in our eyes. The family rejoices, their excitement takes flight. With a new Pascal heated air system, they're snug every night. Give your family the gift of true comfort with over $5,100 in savings. Plus, receive a whole home duct cleaning on qualifying systems. Special financing available with no payments and no interest. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Thank y'all for your show. It's a great format in the morning. It's really nice to have knowledgeable people to wake up to and listen to. So thank y'all.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Van. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
It's Ty Richardson with owner and operator Cecil Gardner with Jazzco Graphics, 16 years in the industry. Cecil, this is the one-stop shop.
Yes, Jazzco Graphics Design, the one-stop shop, 2415 Midland, for your custom or buck order.
Why ESPN 95.3?
I really enjoy listening in, and it keeps my day going while I'm at work. Jazzco Graphics Design, 2415 Midland. It's on the corner of Midland and Kelly. Jazzco Graphics, the one-stop shop.
Hey, it's Matt Jones. Join me, Phil, and Dr. Charles Liggett every Monday at 12:15 for my favorite segment, 3 Up, 3 Down.
Man, that early slate of games, a lot of good games. Phil, congrats to Pittsburgh.
3 Up, 3 Down is presented by River Valley Smile Center. Visit rivervalleysmiles.com or give them a call at 479-646-0706. That's River Valley Smile Center. When you come here, you become family.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
I don't think you can feel that sitting in a chair with catered food and any kind of beverage that you want. I think you need to be in a skybox at a stadium with catered food.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Big win for the Hogs last night, 89-87 over Michigan. Cecil and Fort Smith's on the Chuck and Bo Show. Chuck out the last couple of hours to get on the team plane and get back here. He'll be back in tomorrow for the show. Hey, Cecil, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
Doing great.
Well, I was kicked back on the couch, man. I was tuned in, and we started off a little slow. And I'm like, wow, we got to get this inside game going. And, I didn't panic. I mean, and the Mecca is the Mecca. That's the granddaddy of them all. It's like the Rose Bowl in basketball. I mean, in basketball.
Yeah.
But anyway, Trevin played a really great game. To me, that was his best game I've ever seen him play. And he's full of talent. We just ain't seen everything. And the better players that he played with, the better his skill level will advance.
Right.
I think do need to work on a little bit. He got a few things he got to work on, because I was watching him, because the centers, them big men that Michigan had was really good. They were really good. But to be a first-year team and the youngsters that we had, we did a great job. And you can see the levels, the steps we're taking going up. So everybody just got to be patient, because, I left the front room and went in the back, came back. It was halftime. I came back. I'm like, dang, we done caught up already. We was down by 1 or 2 points. And then we took the lead and kept the lead, and we almost lost it, but we won the game. We got the win. We were in New York City, and I can't remember. I know we've been to New York before in the NIT, but when you playing a game like that, that's the highest level of basketball. I don't know if everybody know that, but it.
Yeah, great points. Sorry, it looks like you dropped off, but thanks for weighing in, Cecil. Exactly. High-end basketball, high-level basketball in Arkansas goes and wins the game. We didn't even talk about Bill Belichick going to North Carolina today. We got so much to get into this week. Interesting names entering the transfer portal available for Arkansas to go get. That's what I'm going to be watching as this week plays out. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
There's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state, and you can add Flyway Brewing to the list, a craft brewery with roots in North Little Rock.